Only 4 spots up for grabs in EU, and we're already seeing the story shape up. Sky and Vato might be making that last-second clutch into New York City. But let's get into action because we have to figure out who is going to be left standing when the dust is all settled. So let's get into games.
Here we go. The first game of the block. So don't forget, those queue times, very, very close to being all wrapped up. Then we're going to have a little bit of extra time to just make sure everyone gets all their games through and completed. Don't forget it's 3-hour window or 10 matches, whichever comes first. Hopping on here with Kiklos, ZQ and his partner, Swats. 4 elimination between them. 41 players remain in the current lobby with 22 duos still left. Look at this circle right now.
Yeah. It's going over that entire ravine there, the bridge in the middle. So kind of a little bit of a treacherous path, but I can already see just based on the stances of some of these players are taking, they're ready to hop over with the launch pads or shadow bombs or whatever they might be using. And to get in that half in, half out, which is positioned right on that big hill with the, you know, the tree of life, as I call it.
Yeah, that's one that I've taken. I used to call it big tree, then I was like, no, tree of life makes sense. But if you're watching the bottom right, you see all the triangles. They're already converging on the new safe zone. Nyroc's gonna get ripped out of the air immediately. That is another elimination, and Swats confirms it there. 5 between the duo now, and this is huge. Now, keep in mind they're pretty separated, but I mean, Kiklos is in the baller, so he can kind of navigate as he needs to.
Yeah, but separation is, you know, what actually caused that elimination to go down onto Nyroc's Aqua.
Oh, the baller!
Oh no, well, that is so sad to see. Just like he took out Aqua, he actually blew up his launch pad right before he managed to get on it. So Aqua going a little bit too fast, but here he's going a little bit too fast for his baller. And again, split from his teammate, just like he said, Zeke. Is he going to be able to find anything from here on this low ground position? A little bit tough.
You know, trying to divide and conquer, I mean, it can work for you, right? Like, if you've got the confidence, you've got the skill, you can absolutely make it work. But look how far away diagonally he is right now. I mean, you got to think this is the top 1%, right? Don't forget the top 3,000 or 1,500 duos from the region move on to finals. Maybe you'll catch some people off guard, but for the large part, you're not going to catch many, like, incredible players off guard with that kind of tactic, right? Like, they're going to be looking. They're waiting. Like, someone's going to do something cheeky here. I just feel it. 44-88. Oh, my God. Okay, listen, refs guard. All right, I was going to say pull off another shot. He just beat me to the punch. It's like, Zeke, I got you. Don't worry.
Infantry rifle being used right through the window. So strong at putting out those high damage numbers right away, taking down that duo. And actually going to manage to snag the loot as well. Meanwhile, on the rest of the server, I did see Boyer and Cripper. I saw Dementos in the lobby. So Boyer and Cripper, one of those teams that a lot of people were looking forward to, you know, qualify for New York, but not have yet having those performances in this lobby. We'll see what they're able to do. Obviously, Haxguard and Refsguard, Haxcore, sorry, way on their way towards that top of the leaderboard. The RPG coming in.
So I believe, if I remember correctly, I think Cripple was actually picked up, and I think Boyer's by himself. Once we can take a look at the high and wide shots here and establish things, we'll get a better sense. But right now, rotations need to begin happening. Shadow bombs are being popped. Look at this. They try and reposition here with Ref's guard. That's good. Team is back together, and the chug splashes. Thank you, teammate. And it comes out. Didn't catch it. The player drops down to 76 over on. There you go. Sigma has been eliminated, going back to the lobby.
And that is exactly how you want to place the traps. When you drop somebody into the box, make sure you place it on that front wall or the roof, and then you can rotate the stairs accordingly. But they have no chance of escaping from the left or the right when you place it in that fashion. Great reaction there from Haxcore and Refsguard, and we're going to stay on them.
First round of placement points coming out. Right now, they have 3 eliminations, which in it itself is huge. There you see Boyer goes down, has been eliminated, even Alliance Powder as well. And this lobby is just going to continue to thin out. Edgerkill going to be picked off as well by Pappy, and this just continues. Benji Fishy is also in the lobby as well. He's going to pick up Mav Joe. And right now, I mean, if you're Refsguard and you're Haxcore, you're probably thinking, like, I'm watching the elimination feed. I know these Titans are in here. What are we looking to do, right? You've already got the first round of placement points. You're about to get the next round. Do you think they just go full send, try to find eliminations, maybe play it a little bit slower? Oh, my God! Please. Oh, God.
I was going to say that's what they're doing right now, but that's definitely going to put them on the back foot. The flint knock is actually going to knock him back into the zone. He used all the chug splashes, so that's not going to be useful to get back in, but Hackscore still up. They did take out Benji, which was the player that RPG'd them, kind of caused them a little bit of chaos and panic. But still alive, still rocking down on this low ground. This is where they've been staying the entire time and so impactful down here, Zeke.
Look at the lobby now. 6 players remain, all of which are solo riders. No one's got a buddy. Themo here, he's going to find one over on Josa there and find an immediate elimination. Top 5, another round of placements for everyone in the lobby.
Yeah, but only on wood. These players that are finding down below are not covering their top. He's going to find one. Can he find another? Not just yet. He does have that flint knock if he does need to get back up. But again, no materials, it looks like, or they're playing very sparse with them. Now using that flint knock to get down onto the height that he needs to so he doesn't take any fall damage, no risk, but another player trying to get up over the hill, and unfortunately Hackscore is left below, but the storm is playing with his favor right now. He's going to be able to get up.
Look at this. Themo's got high ground advantage right now. Hackscore low on HP. And Vic here, he's got, oh, just kidding. I was going to say HP advantage, but it doesn't matter. Hackscore evens the odds. And now Themo has that high ground control. Hackscore's got to do something, but a huge shot comes back over. And this is Themo's game to win 4 eliminations between the duo. Victory Royale, a 13-point game.
Yeah, and they tied, actually, in terms of points with Hackscore and Refguard. So a valiant effort there from low ground. We saw them completely, you know, stuck down there, no opportunities to get out, but making do with what they get. So they push themselves up to over 60 points now, and that is definitely something that you want to be at moving into these last games. The queues are definitely about to close.
There we go. We got another game, of course, more Fortnite action to be had near Happy Hamlet right now. Storm Circle 5. Don't forget, if you're new to Fortnite, the way we've been running the qualifiers, we hop into the Storm Circle 4, 5, sometimes even 6, getting right in the action, skipping past the looting, the drops, all of it, jumping right into all of the action to be had. I think we should probably refresh people on the format just in case they're tuning in for the first time. So guys, don't forget, every single elimination is a point. Top 15, 10, 5 into victory hour, all the placement thresholds. Look at this. Cubs is just finding elims.
Perfect. That's exactly what you need to do. When you're on the edge of the zones, you have options to get in. He has those shadow bombs if he wants to use them, but you obviously don't want to use all your mobility early. You only have 2 of those, so he forces out the launch pad from the team nearby. If that did not work, he still has the option to go ahead and use those shadow bombs, so doesn't have to worry about that rotation. And honestly, getting a bit of luck based on the players who are coming in, but sometimes you just force it out.
That's right, man. This lobby is still so packed right now. Got so many players. Just a few one-by-ones over. Gafal, though, is going to be dropped immediately. And now we head over to Requiem George and his teammate, 2Gen Ever. They're trying to isolate this player. So this is the one we saw go down. And now they're just hunting, trying to make sure they can find this elimination as quickly as possible. I like the way they're navigating this, right? They're breaking 2 separate builds instead of just trying to bash through a single wall. Just making it more difficult if you're on the inside. You're like, how, you know, they're coming in from 2 different angles. How do we defend against this? They did get the revive off, Paula, but they still have a lot of pressure.
On the same token, when you do go from 2 different angles, you also have to be careful because that's 2 more angles that they can use.
Right.
In that situation being box to box, face to face, 1 wall in between each other, and the stairs there kind of rotated the awkward way. Very difficult to kind of escape from that if they do manage to get that wall, if they do manage to get an angle on you. So deciding to back off, probably the healthy decision, especially as the Zone 6 starts to move.
We saw George here drop a few, potentially 1 shadow bomb for his duo partner Ever. And here we go, they're immediately popped. The rotations are going to come out, but again, this is a very dense lobby. 33 players currently remain, 19 of them being duo partners. They need to find more. You know, you got to think, obviously you want to try and make placement, that's huge, but every extra elimination is going to make the difference on impacting that leaderboard. And I'm sure this is things they're thinking about, right? I'm just thinking aloud right now. Oh, perfect. Castery gets traded out there, trying to make a late rotation. Not today, friend, not today.
Well, we saw earlier, I mean, they're only at 35 points in this game, but we saw Camo and Issa with that crazy performance to try to push them up in the leaderboards. And we're in the top 10 last we looked, but you know, those performances are the one that really push you, not just 1, 2 spaces, but really 5, 10, 20 even in some cases.
That's right, and look up top, FaZe Warwin and Atlantis Tux They've got themselves the high ground advantage, which is huge. It's going to make a difference. Look at this. Someone trying to challenge, and immediately they say, we need to bail out. This is not the strategy. And Razny gets shredded. Like shooting fish in a barrel, comes right out of the sky, and the elimination is confirmed.
And this is even with the changes to the combat shotgun, the effectiveness at range getting dropped a little bit, but Vorwin not doing anything, not worried about it at all. But here, Tux is going to be fighting for height. I think Vorwin, his teammate, needs to start pressuring and stop this. But oh my goodness, what a shot up above the builds. Tux is going to find that elimination just there. Sloopy not going to find a height. Still going to be on Tux and Vorwin. Advantage to them.
Crack a ball right out in front. He drops the player and gets some blue damage numbers. Remember, that's on shield. If it's white damage numbers, they've got no shield. Tux gonna okay. Poseidon. Jim just gets ripped as well. People are just being picked off left and right. More shots.
I mean, at a certain point, Zeke, it's, do I even want to glide up there? But hold on, because somebody does go into zone and make a play for height, and that's going to be the signal for Tux and Vorwin to drop down. But as he says that, he's got a partner in crime going down. Nepsi cannot go parallel to Tux. Vorwin still has it, though.
This is huge, too, because he didn't have many builds, and that Elim gave him a ton, so now he can actually go try and meet back up with Vorwin, see how things are going. And I mean, Tux and Vorwin, they're playing out of their minds right now, but look at everyone down below still. You got a few people in ballers. Gafal was on lethal HP. So many people in that mid-ground tarp that are now engaging Fremont and his dual partner. 9 eliminations between them. They just hit top 10. 2 rounds of placement points. What in the world? A 14-point game, all 15-point game.
We just talked about Camo Innis's performance, and Fremont and Kong right now making their way towards one of those. Will push them up the leaderboards. They're at 66 right now, and maybe making a case for them to go to New York. Fremont and Kong, a little bit of a break right here. They're going to drop those turrets out, make sure that that's not going to be in the trap rotation. He's going to get it. The trap doesn't go. Oh, yes, he did go in, but not going to manage to do it. Finds Rasco regardless, and now his teammate as well. He actually finds Kubex, too, as they drop down all together, but it's now only Fremont. And look at this gaggle of players down below. I don't know if they're going to be able to all survive. Right now, Fremont does go down, and it's now Tux and Vorwin against Edwin on his own. Tux goes down and already finds the shots. And that's going to be the victory royale for Tux and Vorwin.
They played that so well, right? Like, they just waited. They knew, and especially 8 eliminations. An 18-point game, this is massive. This also, we saw the other duo was at 62 points. They're now at 66. So you got to think they're contesting for at least top 5, but for them to realize, like, look, everyone's down below. They're all fighting on that low ground tarp. Let's just hang out in the sky. Let's just do what we do best, wait this out. And, of course, everyone, like fish in a barrel, comes to them. But look at this. Stompy and Shinken here. The little thin pancake who belongs in my heart forever. I mean, these guys, I don't know what else I could say about these guys. Like, the fact that they've been on top of the leaderboards weeks in a row. If you've got to think this is a favorite going into Fortnite World Cup Finals. You have to.
I think, you know, I'm looking at everybody using the hashtag Fortnite World Cup and all the predictions going in for New York, all the different personalities starting to make their opinions known. Everybody is putting Stompy and Shinken way up there, if not first and second, because they are dominating week after week, and I think we are in for a treat in this game because they're getting close, and they're in the end game, and this is, honestly, I think this might be the first time we've seen them. And you know what they do in end game, Zeke. It is crazy, clinical Fortnite.
They absolutely terrorize the lobby. They just, everything they do is about how can they get an edge up, and then they make sure they're almost like squeezing the life out of you very slowly, right? Suffocating is like the word my mind went to, but it's kind of just like they're bringing the wall.
It is that.
It is that, right?
Because like when they do find an opportunity, they pounce so hard and so fast, and you have no time to react, and they just come from multiple angles, just like this. Stompy from above, Shinken on the bottom, and he already takes down 1 carries exactly. You see Shinken switching to him right now. He actually can get right behind him, and he finds it, but does now need to make sure that nobody is going to take advantage of the fact that Stompy is down. You can see immediately editing him down all the way because he needs to change positions. Everybody knows they just got an elimination in that box, and I think Freddy and Snagged right here are going to see if they can take advantage here. They're definitely getting the loot, so maybe that's enough for them.
I think they're going to get the revive off. And don't forget, Shinken actually has a Chug Jug in inventory, so he's going to be completely okay. He passes it over to Stompy. This is good. Now they have to have the 15 seconds. This is where things could get a little crazy, right? Because we saw the duo up above. If they decide to challenge, Stompy is not in fighting condition right now.
Note there that Stompy went so far away from where that initial fighting was and goes all the way to the farthest spot, not only for the zone, but also for anybody trying to find out where you are. And here comes the launch pad from Stompy. They're going to move ahead. Ooh, a nice little short launch there by accident even, but I'll take it if I'm Stompy.
Absolutely. And just to reiterate your point, you know, these guys are playing at the highest level possible, right? They know what a Chug Jug sounds like. Those sound cues are so very distinct. If you're sitting in a box and you hear that sound down below, you're like, we're going down, let's make some edits, someone's on critical, we're gonna take him out, and that's why he moved so far away, to make sure no one knew what was going on. So huge. 23 duos left, 39 players. Right now they're making a rotation. You've got people out in front, which is good, and they're still staying close by, which is really gonna maximize their efficiency here. A lot of people going down in the lobby as well.
I think staying close by is something we're actually not really used to seeing from Stompy and Shinken. We see them trying to take over the lobby and get as many opportunities as possible, but what is that from Stompy? I mean, but one of the things that is very important here to note is their mobility is starting to look scarce. All that we see on Stompy right now is that glider play. They already used their shadow bombs, the launch pads, because of the position they were put in. They couldn't rotate early. So here, staying together, making, oh my goodness, he
got a rift.
As I say that, the rift to go, the almost most valuable item at this point in the game, because not only are people rotating in the congested zones, but they're not looking up, because that first portion of the movement, everybody is looking to see, where do I need to go next?
And they've got a great bird's eye view, right? They're slowly descending on. We've got Alpha there going to drop down, but look, so now they're going to make the decision. We have to contest.
Oh, they know.
Someone just brought the entire structure down. This is, it depends on what they decide to do. Look at Stompy. He's already trying to contest for the high ground, and Shinken had to stop for just a moment to get that mini up. He's got the shadow bomb, but I don't think he wants to use this right now. He gets cracked from behind. The slurp is still ticking right now. He's just got to get himself into safety. He doesn't have any other utility balla, like a campfire, that would help him right now.
Yeah, but possibly Stompy does, and he's right on top of him now. So great, you know, staying together. They're glued to each other, almost in another elimination. First finding it before moving out. He gets stuck in the cone, but he's got to cover himself first. Does end up going down the zone. So perfect play here from Shinken, and he's moving forward. And they did get in the top 15 just now as well with those 2 eliminations.
And just the way that Shinken is like fluidly chaining eliminations back to back. And remember, if you don't finish that player off, there's a little bit of time before that siphon comes through. There's a player in the box. Oh! It doesn't even matter. Nebby gets shut down. They're on 11 eliminations right now. They're about to hit top 10. Balla, they're playing out of their freaking minds.
Nebby, one of those players who was towards the top, him and his teammate from Evade. And getting shut down here from Stompy and Shinken, 2 people who have already qualified, who are not playing for qualification spots, but playing for keeps. Right now, they're showing off why they should be at the top of the leaderboard, and we just talked about it. We were like, where's Stompy and Shinken? Because there's nobody who's qualified at the top of the leaderboard like we're used to seeing, but maybe after this game, things are gonna change, but the Heavy Snipey coming in. Heavy Snipey?
Snipey, yeah, absolutely, Snipey coming through. Now don't forget, they're also at 66 points. We've seen 3 duos now with that point value. And look at this, Stompy's got to chain together these eliminations. Shinken is down, but it's okay. Stompy's been in positions like this before. He knows how to clutch these games up. The campfire is rolling, Balla. He's getting back in that rhythm.
Getting back in that rhythm and achieving top 5 right there, that last placement threshold before the Victory Royale. So all he has to do.
Here we go, the key to all doors! Oh my! Okay, I'm gonna lose my freaking voice after today, I'm telling you right now. Stompy and Shinken are putting on a show. The European queues are done as well. It's a free-for-all right now. Also, Pewds goes down a rocket from up above, Balla.
Just barely dodging that. And now he's up to 10, 15 total for this duel. It's a 1v1v1. He's hunting the player down on low ground, but he can't get in the zone. I think that's going to be the end because Katsus is looking right at him. Now, has the Chug Splash. The RPG just barely is going to hit the wall in front of him. Using the Chug Splash and the campfire, I don't think it's going to be enough because the player up above probably has more in the tank, but he's going to come down. Is it going to happen? No. Massey is going to win that game against Cactus. over the heel off there, and that is just an unbelievable sequence of events. We followed Stompy and Shinken from the beginning, and look where they ended up. 15 eliminations, the most out of any placement thresholds besides the Victory Royale. That is a performance for the ages, and a reminder of why we need to be scared of them going into New York City.
That ain't no little tiny thin pancake, bro. That's a big old beefy pancake covered in delicious syrup. You like to see it. But of course, guys, there's more Fortnite action. We got more games hopping in right now. We got Dervig and his duo partner. They've got their eyes set on another duo sitting in a box. I believe they've got double heavy snipes. That's why we ping this out. Single shot's gonna come out and wait for it. Okay, so they're gonna break this wall. They want to get a little bit of a better vantage point. That's smart, right? Because they're over that little lip there. Nope, they're not there. But now you've made the heavy sniper known, right? Now this other duo is like, well, they're looking to take shots. You know, the panic launch pad.
I don't necessarily know with that panic. They are in the side of zone, making their way in, and you can see now Drivig and his teammate Waldo are going to go in, but he box fights indeed, gets wet right out of there, no chance to react at all. And that is something that you can catch people by surprise. Is they're trying to make that rotation, right? They're trying to figure out what their plan is to go forward. And because of that, they're all looking around. They're not paying attention to the fact that they're not covered. They're not paying attention and listening to the fact that there's a heavy sniper coming in, or just a pickaxe even, from one of the most obvious locations right above you.
And I mean, you saw them separate for a moment, him and his dual partner, and now they just use that rift to reposition and get to go close back together. Got Marcote here and Squalls K. Marcote here has got 6 eliminations. Again, this is almost unusual, Bala, because I feel like, you know, semifinals are typically the day where you find a ton of players sitting on mountains of eliminations, right? Borderline double digits at times. But on finals day, very rarely you see that happen. You see eliminations be picked up toward the end, right? When you break that placement barrier and then you're like, I'm just gonna catch people making late rotations, but that's not been the case today. You can tell players they're ready. They are so hungry. They want those tickets.
You can almost feel the pressure that they're feeling, that they're playing with, right? The high eliminations, they have to go for it because it's all or nothing right now, in this moment. There's only 4 spots left up for grabs in the EU. That isn't much out of all the players who are playing and out of the top 1,500 that made it from semifinals to today.
That's right. And remember, we recently saw the highest point value we've seen is 66. So we know that's like, we'll say top 10 at best right now. But look at everyone in the sky all hanging out. May have been a rift to go, a community launch pad, a potential guy. Yeah, the vents are right there over by the hot spots. Right now, Alpha and Mark, they're just chilling, trying to find more eliminations. Any at all would be helpful. They find one.
That stink bomb coming to great effect as players start to make all their rotations, and it was a perfect opportunity to use it because, as we saw, there were so many players in the sky, and those players in the sky are all going to end up being low because of everybody else looking right up at them. So a good opportunity for a lot of people to find eliminations there, but going to opt to rift as they start to get pressured and as the 7th zone starts to move.
This is going to be a little bit weird, right? Because remember, we're fighting in that biome that's like forest, the big tall trees. Depending on where we go, they could potentially land on the top. Let's stream Vato there in the bottom right corner for just a moment. They're in this game, and remember, they are looking to qualify. Wolfies and Rojo, we saw them earlier, right? They were in top 5. Yeah. They're still here with 65 points.
For some context, when we first checked in on the leaderboards, it was Wolfies and Rojo who were in the top spot, but they did get overtaken by Vato and Sky, so this might actually come to a head. Those 2 teams facing off in this game. Here's Wolfies getting in that box. He's going to take out Jachu from behind. But his teammate coming through with the trap, not going to be enough because Wolfies, the quick edit's going to go back on top of him and does find the elimination. Precious goes down. Even using the turret there, I mean, I'm wondering if that was a panic or an accident. But it's going to work out perfectly because if anybody was playing down below, he actually doesn't have to spend a cone there. It's not going to go down. It gives you extra HP on that floor.
And look, dude, they're still in this. Sky and Vato, they're in that middle ground tarp. They're actually going toe-to-toe with Wolfies and Rojo right now. This is the duo that they're fighting. So look, they actually have 70 points. This is now the new highest total we have seen. So it must be another 2 points coming in. They've hit top 10. The next threshold they're looking at is top 5 ball. That's coming down to the wire.
And you can see how careful and calm they are playing. They're making sure that they spend the time to use their heals, use their items, because if you don't use them, you're going to lose them. And finding one that's Drivig who goes down, and they're still pushing for that top 5. They're still pushing towards that victory royale and looking really good while doing it.
I thought that was Wolfies and Rojo. I thought with my heart of hearts. I believed it. And look at this. Watch the top left. Rojo finds another elimination, so you know he's alive and kicking. They've hit top 5, 75 points over on the Lestream duo. The French-speaking community's got to be losing their minds. Up above, you got Mark and Alphen as well. The question is, where is Wolfies? Where is Rojo? Where are they in relation to each other? This duo right in front of them very well could be them, or it could be Alphen and Mark. It depends. I want to see this hide wide, man. I almost want to see a 3-box. I got to know with my heart.
Well, the trap going in there is definitely going to de-incentivize Skyt and Vato to go in, and there we can see Mark and Alphen up top. Wolfies and Rojo down below. They take out takeoffs. And now it's all time to go right down. They know exactly the situation, but Skyt gets taken out right away by Wolfies, and they're still fighting. Vato goes out. Rojo and Wolfies take the win there, and they're still going. There's only 2 players remaining. It's a 1 versus 1 right now. Low HP though, and Smoke, Mark, and Alphen are gonna come up from the top and clean up house.
That was insane. They ended with 77 points. That extra 3 points would have probably helped get them to that 80 threshold and just help build that lead. But this is absolutely insane. I think, Ball, for now, we got to send it back in the studio. We got to meet up with Pookie. We got to see how things are going. So, Pookie, let's send it your way.
Thank you so much, Zeke. I am here in the studio. Those games are absolutely wild. EU is, like always, not disappointing, that is for sure. But I am joined with my good friend Sundown. He has got some clips for us. I know you got a little bit of Stompy. Can't wait to see that. Show us what you got.
Yeah, let's actually jump in right here with some of the duos who have been popping off so much today in the last block. First off, we had the VAR duo of Refscar and Hackscore being able to put a ton of work on the mid ground. So first, you can just see catching the players who are trying to rotate through, putting the legendary infantry rifle to work, finding Comey there, but watch what happens on the rest of the mid-ground tarp. It's one thing we talked about, being ready to fight at all times. Catches Booth right there, 0 ping, won't save you as Refscar, then immediately edits around, checks another angle, gets the cleanup on Idrakil. That wasn't his knock, but the materials that he ends up getting from that was huge. But Hackscore is then covering the other side, is able to get the other part of the Valhalla Vikings duo, and now they're going to work. Benji Fishy, one of the best players in the world, going down on the backside, brilliantly done, and Hackscore picking up another one on the Impact Fixie, fragging his way into the top, but wasn't able to close it out. Tux now, on the other hand, was a one-man wrecking crew here. Just watch him going to work on the backside of the storm and putting the combat shotgun to work. I mean, for me, you can tell it got adjustments there with how Tux is just lasering people. And then that shot was so good, catching Nipsey in shadow form as he dropped down around the side, and he wasn't done yet. Again, we've talked about the power position that is the high ground when you're able to work from top down, close the bottom of the store, and Tux and Vorin just close out here, making sure he's faced through the floor to get Edwin. Now, we've seen a duo trying to qualify. Here's a duo who has already qualified and are potentially one of the best in the world for this part of the competition. Now, got the trade off there. Shinken gets the revive onto Stompy. He's sitting currently at 4 elims. They're on 6 right now, but let's start counting, because Stompy is going to go to absolute work, and this is just catching people in rotations and being aware. The quick double right away pushes them up to 8, and that was Melside too on the backside of it. Now they're up to 11 because Shinken was able to go to work, but the revive on Stompy ends up being the difference because he's able to push through. Finds Mashus right there, now up to 12 as a duo. You will see Shinken go down on the backside there, so Stompy is just going to continue being a one-man wrecking crew on the tarp, up to 13 as a duo. Heavy snipes his way in, doesn't slow down, and continues pushing the pace, picks it up there, but unfortunately wasn't able to close out for the victory route. Stompy putting on a clinic, showing why he's able to contest for the very top. Now, as we talked about, the queues are closed, but we're not done yet. We want to see those final matches and what's left, Books.
For sure. Now, interestingly enough, I had the opportunity to speak with Stompy the other day. You know, we exchanged a little bit of back and forth about how he's feeling for World Cup. Him and Shinken are practicing 12 hours a day. They are going into this hard, and from what we've seen, it certainly shows. But you know what? I can't wait to get into more games. Zeke and Bala, let's hear from you.
Pookie just flexing all over us right now, talking about how she's talking with Shinken and Stompy. That's cool. I also talk to players. No, it's not.
Don't cry on us now, but
it's already cried 6 times. That's a 6. All right, Fortnite fam, we are back.
And we're tuning in with Pyro and Destiny's Jesus right here. Destiny's Jesus is definitely somebody that's been on a lot of people's radar because, you know, we all learn from this guy. Everybody's watching his videos because every single day it feels like he's coming out with a new technique on how to box fight or how to build fight. His partner Pyro right now, they're slightly split. See if they're going to be able to find any picks on the way in. Do find Wolfie. It's not the Wolfies that we saw from the other game. So just to keep that in mind right here.
Different Wolfies. So let's reiterate. We did not look at standings. But we know like 77 points is the highest we've seen at this point, right? So for Pyro and Destiny's Jesus, especially with maybe the last few games, they've got to make some really big things happening. Right now, Pyro is saying, don't even worry, fam. We've got you. We're going to pick up eliminations left and right. They've also hit the first round of placement points. This is going to be super, super beneficial for them.
Yeah, and when I said they were split, I didn't actually realize that they're not even split at all. They just kind of have 2 different angles here that they're approaching. Finding picks right here. Destiny Jesus looking down that south side and Pyro looking over towards the east. And finding those eliminations, not only does he have those, but he's feeling comfortable because he's finding those picks, getting the siphon, all that. They're getting themselves healthy, but he has 2 rip-to-goes as well in the inventory as Carnage is to go for heavy snipe. Oh, that is why you kind of need to make sure that you're not going into these situations, these end games, with low white HP, with low health, because if you don't have any bandages or anything like that, you're not going to be able to recover that without siphon, right? And if somebody is carrying, by chance, some stink bombs, and they realize, hey, I can go ahead and throw this on this box and get 2 people ticking down at the same time, that's value from that stink bomb, and also finding elimination because he was low, too low to even survive even a tick from it.
And I mean, they made it very known that what they were trying to do, right? The first heavy snipe came in and blew the wall out. At that point, you got to just build a wall, re-edit your ramp, and then just like move a 1x1 space back, right? A grid space back, because you know what they're trying to do, and you've got to expect. I did not expect that. Another stinker here, and this is what I'm talking about, right? You already see the players trying to get away from the stink bomb there, but in a similar fashion, you got to be ready. You got to think, what could they have at their disposal? They're trying to pressure us right now, especially this position. We've got to be ready for a stink to come in. But right now, Carnage is going to look to reposition. Pretty good spot right now on this far side of the circle. Now we're just waiting.
Heavy snipe comes in. The tree's in the way, though, and I don't think there's a player directly in this box. He might have thought, because the tree was in the way, that
they were hiding behind.
Yeah, exactly. When the sound is there, you kind of hear the sound cues. You know that there's something coming. But regardless, oh,
there's the player.
He comes in from the side. They both edit into the same box from different walls, and that's going to be the end of probably both of those duos, unfortunately, because they're fighting right on the edge of zone and with walls ahead of them as well. They're not going to be able to make their way out that easily, and a lot of players are going to realize exactly what's going on. But look how high Vapors and Yuto are right now, and we're already down to 12 teams in this game, Zeke.
I mean, they've got the builds, they've got a flint knock, they've got a chug splash, just a single one if they need to get crazy. They dropped out in the box, the first shot misses, 125. And Land gets destroyed there. The chug splash gonna help top him off. Unfortunately, look, his dual partner Yuto up above has been dropped, so now it is all on the shoulders of Vapor. They have 3 eliminations between them, so they've got to chain together more if they're looking for more points. Thankfully, the Storm goes back the opposite way.
And look who actually took high ground from them. It's Destiny's Jesus and Pyro, who we sucked in with before, and he still has that GL that he's been using, the grenade launcher from range, finding himself one before, and actually going to find another Rift to go. Not going to be that useful right now, but that GL is going to be, because they are having a free roam range right here up on top. They can throw this GL down in so many different cracks. And did he get it in that wall? Yes, but it's not going to find any damage. Actually, somebody fighting for height right now, but with those build fight tactics that he's been working on, he's going to go ahead and crank right back up and not let him take it. But in this case, does end up taking it. The chug splash coming in. Ooh, a rift play. This is kind of All or nothing. They might land on Alpha and Blaster right here. No, they're going to go out and scoop back out of the zone, but no, Piro lands, and Destiny's Jesus didn't, so a little bit of miscommunication right here. Is Destiny's Jesus going to be able to maybe knock this out? Because I know Piro has something. He does find Blaster, so is he going to actually take this team on head-to-head right now and possibly put themselves in position to win this game? Destiny's Jesus making his way right back up, and this fight is for all the marbles. The spam coming in from below, and that's going to be the end of Blaster and Alpha. Piro and Destiny's Jesus took the high ground.
This is so huge. All he had to do was buy the time for the siphon to come through, and that's exactly what he did. Look, Alpha dropped all the way down. He was like, look, you know what? That entire fight is lost. And now Destiny's Jesus and Piro can rejoin. Down below, Pablo is going toe-to-toe with Alpha. And look at this, Suicide Mark as well. He gets traded out. And now Pablo is in a 1v2.
I think actually Destiny Jesus just knocked a few GLs down there, but he falls to his elimination right there. He gets knocked, and right now Piro's making the slow climb down. It's now a 1v1 as Alpha goes down, but Piro takes out Vapor, and the Victory Royale puts them at 63 points to win that game.
Man, so don't forget, we've seen quite a bit of points. They very well could be contesting for top 5 right now, and that would be absolutely huge. But of course, more games, more action to tune into. We're over by Tomato Temple. Look at it. All hail your tomato overlords.
Well, right now, just a recap of where we're talking about in terms of standings. You said that the highest points that we saw was what, 77?
77.
So
that's the highest we've seen so
Destiny's
far.
Jesus and Piro at 63 or maybe 64, depending on how that updates with that last elimination. They could be pushing up towards not necessarily qualification range just yet, but another one of those performances, and they very well could be. Remember though, the queues are closed, so that could have been the last game that we just watched there. But here's Mitro takes out Mitro, and his teammate Vermax is already down, so Mitro himself did not have his duo partner Mongrel, but we already know their prowess. They've, you know, it seems as if they've qualified multiple times for duos already, Mitro and Mongrel, so they're not worried about that. Obviously not getting a chunk of that $2 million that's spread across all the regions. But again, talking about the scores and the standings, right now you can see Frenzy and Ads are already kind of tied with that last team that we saw.
Yep.
So possibly
and if I remember,
up through this game.
If I remember, it was Stomping Chichinkin, right, that had 77. If I remember correctly. It's honestly probably so much action.
If that's an assumption that we're trying to make, I think we can go ahead and make that comfortably.
I think what I was also going to say in regards to that is that don't forget they've already qualified, right? So even if they're sitting at that #1 spot, that shifts the entire standings down, all right? So not 1 through 4th that are going through, but instead 2 through 5th will be going through. But right now,
and that's a story in and of itself.
Yeah.
Stompy and Shinken, they've done it every single duos week. They have done it every single duos week. They have not missed a beat on making sure they're up in the top spots every single weekend.
Man, to get and be able to like get that kind of practice, right, and to keep doing it. One thing would be like, we qualified, we hit, you know, the very next week we hit first, all right, then we've hit at least like maybe top 10. But no, these guys are hitting top 3 back to back.
Stink bombs right now, Zeke. I think he's going to get both from this last one. I think this is going to do it. I think his HP is going to be gone, but no, not throwing it all the way ahead, but he's going to find the AR shots regardless. So Ghosty and Jamif falling to, you know, he actually still has 2 more stink bombs right here. That's crazy.
And don't forget, these get more valuable as the circle closes, right? Because remember, this is the space of, or I guess the stink cloud is a little bit bigger than a 1x1. So as that circle continues to close, you can really be putting some people in really tough spots, especially when you're basically just saying, the entire play space you're in right now, boom, I have dealt it, you're smelling it.
Classic Zekeism right there. He always gets the last laugh. But moving into the rest of this game right now, it's Zeke and Narcos on high ground.
You know, I really got to reach out to Zeke here because we have the same name, and every time Sundown is on broadcast and says his name, I look and I'm like, wait, did you say my name? Does he need me? Oh, never mind. It's just Zeke and Narcos. Yep, that's fine.
Yeah, always on high ground, always winning games, something that Zeke is not familiar with.
Dang it, I was going to make the joke. You beat me to the punch.
But Yarcos and Zeke are certainly familiar with it as they take high ground and hold it against Kaspersa, who tried to take it from them. Yarcos is qualified in solos, not just yet in duos, but we'll see here if the Polish duo can do it, can qualify for New York. They're at 57 right now. We saw a couple of players that were ahead of them in terms of points in this game.
Right.
So everything matters, remember. Every interaction counts. I think he has another opportunity here to knock down, but no, they're not going to take it. They're going to decide time to back off. But as that branches out more and more, hold on, because Hadkos falls directly into somebody's box, and I think that's going to be the end. Yes, he falls to the zone because that player takes advantage of the, distraction that he had up on high ground and knocks him out from below. No, it's Frenzy and Ads that I was just kind of referencing in terms of their points. At 66, they take the high ground, Zeke.
Look at this, 67 points now. They're trying. Now, don't forget, we saw, again, 77 is the highest we've seen so far. They're 10 points in striking distance, and that's if that duo was in the #1 spot. So you've got to think, again, these guys are contesting for top 5. We've seen teams literally sit here and trade places, and if they hit top 15, it would be huge. Stream, Vato, and Skite are in this game, Bala.
That is huge. And they're at 77 as well. So we see and update their scores. So just like you're talking about, 77 is that point to beat. Right now, they're going to find another. The cone slide comes in. It's Takeoffs again who goes down, and his teammate Andretta falls to Tux, who is with Borwin. We saw them win the game earlier.
And look, dude, they jump up to 81 points. They hit the top 15. Those first 3 points are so crucial. And look, they're just waiting it out, right? This lobby's going to continue to thin itself out. Zeke, my boy, unfortunately gets picked up, and another round of placements. 83, Bala. 83. They could very well clutch this up and just be the point leaders.
This could be it. Skite and Vato could finally, after 10 weeks of trying, after 4 duos competitions, all those weekends finally paying off, possibly here for Skite and Vato. We've seen this exact situation play out in that game that they got all the way towards the top 5 last time, with a lot of eliminations racking up as well. They're playing slow, and they're making sure that they're going to get that ticket to New York.
And if you watch in the top left, Vato, unfortunately, he gets traded out. He's gone down, and he gets picked up by FaZe, Vorwin. And right before that, I was going to say Mongrel gets picked up. Skites drops down to 18 HP. In his mind, he's probably thinking, this is his moment to shine in the sun, down to 8 HP. He has to make something happen. Even just hitting top 5 would make the difference right now, Bala.
And I don't even think all these builds are his. You can see as soon as he got into the next box, he frantically makes... No! But it's Tux who took out Vato earlier. He uses the stink bomb at the opportune moment and takes out a few more. That's 7 eliminations total. Vorwin's still up, though, so he still has an opportunity to make this work.
Oh, man, eliminated 6 there, just on the cusp, but it's okay. Again, that's now the highest point value we've seen. Even evade ads, look at this, 75 points right now. These numbers are getting out of control. Vorwin down on the lowest ground, he's gonna be dropped.
He's gotta break through metal, though.
He's gotta find Sensei, look up. He's gotta get Sensei, he's gonna drop down in front. No! He does not get the trade out. Ads right now has the health advantage. Frenzy and Sensei, look at them both. They're so hurt that the storm is continuing to tick them out, and it is not enough. It's Ads and Frenzy get the victory royale.
Man, Zeke, we're getting 79 points.
I can't
and
do
that
this.
could be 80 because I know that that elimination counter is slow to update towards the end of these replays. It could be enough, and that could even be possibly their last game, or they could have gotten one more in before these queues. I mean, Zeke, this is coming straight down to the wire here in Europe.
Oh my goodness, man. Of course it would be like this for the final week. It's been like this every, periodically we've seen moments like this where we've seen players edged out at the very end.
And I gotta, Vato and Skite, man.
Yes.
Out in 6th place in that game, not quite making it to 5th place. That could come back to bite them in a terrible fashion. It could be heartbreaking for them, but we go ahead and catch up with them later in the standings. We'll see where they all end up. Here, Thomas and Kluja finding 1 elimination this game, and again, we're looking at the point ranges. 77 was that, but as we saw that last game, they pushed over that 77.
So don't forget, they're at 83 points when we last saw them. So right now, if you're looking at Thomas and his dual partner, Kluja, they could very well contest that 83 points that we saw, right? It's only a difference of 6 points. That's making it into top 10. They're at, or excuse me, top 5. With a few eliminations sprinkled in there, man, I do not want to see Skite and Vato get edged out again. They've come so close so many times. This has got to be their week, and you've got to think they're thinking the same thing, right? They're like, it's all come down. We've put everything on the line. We're playing our hearts out. This is our week to qualify. Just keep your head up and keep positive.
And let's not forget about Tux and Vorwin there in that last game as well. contesting with Skite and Vato, actually taking them out.
Right.
First, Vato ends up getting split, and Tux takes advantage of that, and then the stink bomb coming in at the perfect moment. Skite not having any white heals, we talked about it earlier. So ending up edging them into that top 5 and finding some eliminations on the way too.
Probably kicking themselves, thinking if we'd made that top 5, it would have just helped ensure that our placements were very high. But right now, the current game, Berlof here and his duo partner, Artemis Swede, they're in top 15. Don't forget that first round of placement points is great, but they're at the 39 threshold. They've got to make more happen. And don't forget Thomas and Klusha, they're sitting on 77 if I remember correctly. The question would be, who else is in this lobby? What other big names can we scout out?
It's not just big names, but anybody who's up at the top of the leaderboards right now, because as far as I'm concerned, Thomas and Klusha are the subjects of this game as far as we've seen so far. Obviously, everybody else getting the action. Berlof here, we've already seen them pick up one. They picked up another knock. Are they going to be able to find the elimination here? And they're holding them in zone. They're going to actually probably get this. Definitely the knock is going to be confirmed.
Oh, he should have just taken the shots with the AR. He's going to get blue damage numbers over. Here we go. Isla there gets picked up, but oh, man, this is coming down to the wire. This 14 number hasn't quite changed. Top 10 is the next threshold.
They get knocked out.
Oh, they're coming down. They got to start building down. Did they drop?
Probably just a little bit of damage there, or, you know, started using the glider redeploys. Yes, the rift comes out actually for Berlof, but I don't think he took his teammate Sweet with him. No. You see only a little bit of white HP missing, so probably maybe used a shadow bomber or maybe a flint knock or something to save himself from taking the damage. But who's on high ground? He's looking to see, maybe I'm going to make a play right now. No, he's going to decide I want to join my teammate, and Sweet has a perfect hole for him as he edits him down through it. It's Thomas and Klusha on high ground, by the way.
Yeah, this is a game. They need to close this game out, right? Like, we know for a fact 83, again, in case you just tuned in, that was the highest threshold we've seen for points. Klusha and Thomas, they were at 77 not that long ago. They're about to hit top 10, which is another round of placement points on top of any eliminations they picked up along the way. Down below, though, Swede and Artemis Sweet and Berlof, I hope I'm saying that correctly. They're making things happen, right? They've got the 6 eliminations. They want to try and rack up as many as possible, but they are so far behind right now.
And I've got to criticize the use of that second shadow bomb there instead of getting into the box. Maybe a misclick or something, because now he doesn't have the rotation to stay with his teammate Berlof, who does have one more shadow bomb remaining. They're going to have to path in and walk it in.
Right now, again, top 10 is another round of placement points. Everything is going to slow down. Santo is single, unfortunately picked off right there at the edge, missing out on those points. I want to go back up top, right? I want to see what's going on with Klusha. I want to see their points right now. Berlof, Sweet, he's dropped down to nothing. Anyone could accidentally sneeze in his direction and he could get picked off. Someone finds it. It's Detox who's going to be picked off in the crossfire there. Now Sweet, again, he's ticking. It must be within a stink bomb, and he gets traded out. Berlof does. But Sweet, look, his HP jumps up, so he must have found elimination.
A second before, if that player doesn't come from behind, he actually gets the siphon and probably survives there.
Yep.
So everything coming down to these milliseconds decision. I still haven't seen Thomas. Yes, they finally got one elimination from up on high ground. Sweet starting to use that campfire to its full effectiveness here as the zone starts to go back in the other direction. 5 duos remaining, 7 total players.
Oh, and Thomas gets picked up. That puts Artemis Sweet in the top 5, another round of placement points. So does that mean, that must mean they both have been eliminated? Yes, they are both gone. Right now on the high ground, you've got a player, and everyone else is super huddled together, because don't forget, this play space is just shrinking right now. Stir6, his dual partner Twix, is alive. They find Sweet, who gets picked off.
I love the placement of that trap, though, and the quick reaction from Sweet to actually edit his cone in a certain way so he can make it out unscathed, but still. 4 duos remaining. 1 player drops behind. They're all the same skin for some reason, and Sty6 is going to be able to find him easily. So that duo down on low ground by themselves right now against 2 more players, Julian and Oxy right here.
And down below, Styrix and Twix are the only duo left. They immediately shut down Oxy. They're like, 1 player's pushing us, just let's cooperate, let's shut this guy down, and now they're in a 2v1. Gooden here is going to have the fight of his life, and he's on the 64 points. We've seen a lot of players hovering in that range. This could make the difference if he can find both of these eliminations and the victory royale. 5 points could make the difference. He gets cracked, Bala, down to 23, 13. Oh my God! Oh my God! That was the sickest split knock I've ever seen!
That could have been the sickest split knock I've ever seen, because if he got that elimination and landed, he could have gotten the siphon and all of a sudden forced this into a 1v1 with HP advantage. But unfortunately going to go out into the zone, not able to control himself with the flint knock. Just like Zeke here, a little bit of excitement there from that play.
I'm melting in my chair. I'm just slowly sliding down. I'm trying to collect myself, Fortnite fan, but it's not working right now. Next game, 62 players, 34 duos, still sliding down. 85 points from Rojo and Wolfies? Okay, guys, all right, listen.
So they were slowing down when we last took a look at the standings when I was up there with you, Zeke. They were slowing down. They fell out of that first place. They're starting to creep down to that 6th, that 7th. We were talking about whether their games have been played yet, but climbing back in a strong fashion here. They've got one more game, and at 85 points, if they make this a big one, they could break 100 and almost guarantee themselves a spot to New York.
They have shifted gears, shifted mindset, and have said, we need to punch our tickets. We need to be on the stage of the World Cup Finals in New York City right now. They've got 3 eliminations between them. Don't forget, top 15 is the round of placement points. They are halfway there. They've got to play this smart. They've got to find these few eliminations, like this one player roaming around. Oh my God! Elite gets picked off, another elimination heading their way. And look at this, they're just looking to confirm eliminations, beam players as they can, while being as safe as possible, because look at all the resources they've got available to them. Shadow bombs, chug splashes, the combat minis, they've got it all. They're looking to make this, Bala.
It's kind of crazy. I actually thought that he had an infantry rifle in his hands, but no, it's actually a heavy AR, which you don't see used too often anymore because of the effectiveness of that infantry rifle at long range, but you can't. You got to take what you get, and maybe he even prefers the heavy AR because it does have, you know, a bigger clip in it.
Yeah.
Not doing quite as much damage, but up in the top left right now, we're not only looking at the thresholds reaching top 25, but Mr. Savage goes down in this game. Not too consequential because he's already qualified for New York, but that's another hint that they're probably not going to be making it up there and taking those top 4 spots.
That's right. Don't forget they've qualified, which means right now they're playing for money, which is great. So you got to think they're trying to find eliminations. Den, Magic's Pulse, by the way, someone tweeted at us, that means the magical sausage. You're welcome, the more you know. More shots coming out here from Ollie is cracked. He did not manage to crack that player's shields, but the shots were pretty on point, and he's, of course, 761 above the damage threshold for the Storm. There, Motor, for just a brief moment, peeks out, and Ollie finds and secures it.
I think he might have also hit Motor's teammate, Ferox.
I believe he did.
As he jumped out of that box. I'm looking at Wolfies and Rojo right now, carpeting their way towards the zone. They're going to go ahead and decide to launch pad. They use that, you know, tart for a second just to get ahead of everybody else, make sure they're not going to, you know, hit their heads and waste the launch pad effectively. But here, Benji using those chug splashes to immediately get back to max health, starting his turtle forward.
And the fish out of water here. I mean, the duel of these, you know, we kind of, it's funny that you said we may not see them in top 10, but look at the point thresholds.
I know.
They said, look, Bala, we're savage. We're Benji Fishy, bro. Don't put us out. By the way, four rounds in the AR, only 4.
And Zeke finds actually 2 players who didn't edit their box close. He's going to take out and his teammate as well, Stoico, going down, and that's probably the end of their run in the World Cup.
Benji literally just said, Zeke, I don't care about these 4 AR rounds. Watch me pick up the double, and now I'm sitting on 300. Check me again, bro! I'm a fish out of water! I can breathe in fresh air! That was, in case you didn't see that, that was a thing at the Summer Block Party, which made me laugh, by the way. Go back and watch those little interstitials. They're fantastic. That's what I was referencing. But 86 points over on Wolfsies and Rojo.
Yeah, and he's actually in trouble here as the Shadow Bomb. This player actually doesn't realize, though, he's going to take a nice shot onto Mawaka, sorry. As Wolfie's making his way forward, Rojo is split, but we've seen this situation before. Again, reaching towards that 90 points right now. One more elimination is going to do it, but Rojo goes down, and it's all up to Wolfie's right now.
All right, here we go. So Rojo gets picked up. But now, look, they've just hit that 90-point threshold. So let's think about this, right? If Wolfies could clutch it up by himself, he'd have to at least get the victory royale, which is another 7 points, and at least 3 eliminations. There's still 10 players. It's doable.
To get 100, is that what
to break the triple digits. Yeah, I want to see the 100. I want to see it because you know they want to see it too.
I mean, based on what scores I'm seeing already spread out throughout the map and the games that we've seen, I think he's already probably clinched it. But you know, he's thinking, I have to perform the best I have ever done here. I have to win this game if I want to make it, because I don't have high ground. I don't have a teammate. I've got to do everything. I've got to take all this responsibility on my shoulder, all the pressure from all 10 weeks, and do it right now, Zeke.
That's right. And you got to think they're probably saying, like, just imagine this was you on the stage of the World Cup Finals, right? Imagine you're in that moment. Take everything, all the practice, the long hours you put and dedicated to this game, and focus it and hone it in right now. Wolfies, he's got 3 eliminations. Again, 94 points. If he could find 3 more eliminations, it's not enough. Confetti trades him out and shuts him down in that moment. And now it's coming down to this. It's a 2v1.
Confetti and Toos. It's kind of crazy because we started World Cup in week 1 in semifinals. Toos playing in solos, actually destroying the semifinals, and now here again, ending EU. Is he going to be able to pick up this win? It could propel them up to 71 points, but it's going to happen. Ollie goes down, almost makes a hero RPG play onto Confetti. My heart dropped for a second there, but that really could be, you know, a story from the start to the finish, Z.
Yeah. This is, I think, the only fitting thing now to do. I'm stressing out of my mind, but for now, let's send it into Pookie. She's in the studio. She's going to break down what's going on.
Thank you so much, Zeke. You know what? Go get yourself a sandwich. Go get a drink of water. Calm down. I was over there. You were stressing out for sure. I am joined here with Sundown. Those games are absolutely incredible. EU always putting on a show, never disappointing. Speaking of that, don't want to bring up who's going to be disappointed or excited, but we got to look at the standings.
The final standings, the last 4 coming out of Europe. It's been so absurdly competitive, and let's take a look. Punch some tickets going through. Wolfies and Rojo taking the top spot. Stompy Tashinkin, Benji Fishy, and Mr. Savage don't know how to share. They're still hanging out, had already qualified, so that means it shifts down, and we got Skype, Invato, Vorin, and Tux, and then Klusha in Singularity's Thomas HD taking up the spots, 1 point separating the difference, going through there, saw it going down. I mean, this is nuts. So many players who we've seen, Klusha getting the double qualification going through, Shinken and Stompy not knowing how to stay off of the top. Huge runs from Sky and Vato, as well as Vorin and Tux, and then Wolfies and Rojo just dominating at the start of the day, kind of falling off, and everyone was saying, oh, can they stay up there? A huge last-minute surge, $20,000, a trip to New York City, Pooks. That's massive.
Congratulations to everyone who has qualified for World Cup Finals in New York in July. I cannot wait to meet all of you, but we have some visits to get down to, Sundown.
Time to punch some tickets, right?
Yeah, we got to punch those tickets.
All right, let's get the top one right there. Congratulations, Wolfies and Rojo.
We got Skype and Vado coming out of the stream. Am I doing this one?
Yeah, you can get that one as well. Split it up 2 and 2, and then get Vorin and Tux. Such a great job from Tux there. We saw a number of his plays. Vorin as well clutching up in the end, and then rounding it out. Klusha, by the way, in Singularity. Thomas HD. Congratulations, all of you played so incredibly well. It was a great day to round it out. But again, hey, first of all, to even get to Sunday in Europe, it took 67 points in a victory royale. Like, if you were playing on Sunday, you're among the best of the best there, and just because your name isn't up here doesn't mean you're done. There's always going to be more to play for. There's always more there. And speaking of always more competitive Fortnite stuff, we recently actually just launched our own dedicated Twitter to all things competitive Fortnite. You know, let's just throw it on up there. Go ahead, give it a follow as well. It's twitter.com/FN competitive, and I mean, there's always a way to get involved. We're gonna be highlighting plays, we'll be doing breakdowns, we'll be asking you who your favorite players are up there, so keep an eye on that. And then let's also see what is up on the social wall and what players had to say up there. Boom, right on up there. And then everyone's saying welcome to Twitter on there. Let's go. People being excited about it, and look at that. I love the Sharks just slamming the like and the retweet button.
Nice. I love that. Cutest graphic I've seen on this wall thus far. Can we just talk about Evade Orange's tweet for a second? The only Twitter I need. Could not have said it better myself.
Well, he needs his own there to interact with it as well.
That's
but
true.
I mean, just
you know, potato, potato. That is what it is. But yeah, guys, if you're not following this Twitter already, please go and give it a follow. I'm following it. I know Sundown is. Tweet to us on there. We'll be replying to stuff all day today. But you know what? I feel as though, you know, we've seen a lot of games coming out of Europe today. You know, we've seen a lot of people, you know, punch their tickets. Congratulations to everybody so far. I cannot personally wait to get into the next set of games. So before we do that, we are going to go to a quick break. Do not go anywhere, because when we come back, we'll have more Fortnite action.
Let's fly out to the lobby. Let's fly out to the lobby. Let's fly out to the lobby to get your spots and nums. Burgers from dirt to munch. Tacos royale with brunch. Red juicy's a tasty treat for Lil Whip, Peely, and Pizza Pete. Let's fly out to the lobby to get your spots and nums. Let's fly out to the lobby to get your spots and nums.
What's up, Fortnite fam? Sundown here, and today we are going to talk about the Tactical Assault Rifle and its addition to competitive play.
The Tactical Assault Rifle is probably one of the best additions to the game. It's a long-range weapon where you could save AR ammo if you have a drum gun.
Small bullet you can find everywhere, so it's a good weapon.
The Tactical AR is an uncommon, epic, and legendary weapon that utilizes light ammunition and has a high rate of fire. It does 22, 23, or 24 damage depending on rarity, has a pretty fast first shot accuracy timer, and a dope reloading animation. I mean, come on, just look at it. We've seen a lot of competitive players opt into using the Tactical Assault Rifle over the course of the Fortnite World Cup online open qualifiers. So let's hear from some of the players who qualified for the finals and get their thoughts on the TAC AR's addition to the game.
It's really good, like really good. Once you get to endgame scenarios like 5th zone and beyond, it absolutely beams. It's very viable in meta right now. Everybody's been using it.
I like it because you could actually sneak up on someone. It has this low sound, so it's hard to hear.
It has its viability due to its first shot accuracy that can make it really strong, and the fall off damage isn't as strong as it was for the silent SMG, which got vaulted.
I reckon the gun's awesome for endgame, because if you've got height, that gun can really get a lot of eliminations because it's like a laser, and people endgame tend to have less HP than they would towards the early and mid game, so I think it's really strong in situations.
Thanks for watching. What are your thoughts on the Tactical Assault Rifle, and when do you like to use it? Send us your opinions using the hashtag Fortnite World Cup, and I'll see you on the battle bus, or maybe on the high ground with a TAC AR.
Fortnite fam. Did I beat you in rock, paper, scissors? Hashtag Fortnite World Cup. I probably did because I'm really good at it. It's the only thing I'm good at ever. But, guys, we are knee-deep in the World Cup finals. Qualifier here for duos. It has been unbelievable. The European action has not disappointed. But, of course, we're getting ready to hop into more games. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at Oceania replays because don't forget, Oceania and Asia happened overnight. So we're going to also look at Asia replays as well. I guess I should have said both. And then we're going to take a live look into Brazil, see how things are going for them. I need 2 casters on deck. Let's get Pookie Face. Let's get Sundown. Let's get into these games.
Thank you so much, Zeke. I'm joined here by the amazing Pookie Face, who has a great talent at ignoring high fives.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow, she literally looked right at the camera and then right at me, but as Zeke just said, Oceania and Asia wrapped up last night. I stayed up, watched some of the games. I know most people didn't, but they were incredible. The last spots were there, and let's hop in, give these guys a little coverage, and celebrate just how awesome at Fortnite they are. Now, a fun fact about both these guys, 7 matches played total. That was all they ended up running through. So they were able to get the maximum amount of points through each one of them, not needing all 10. And as we talked about with the breakaway esports duo of Serpent and Hype, averaging a placement of 2.67 across those 7 games. That is ridiculous.
That is extremely high. Do you know what other teams are sitting at in terms of averages like that?
I mean, you really don't typically will see placements like that in a 10-game run. Like in overall, like we've seen people being most consistent in like over the course of 10 games.
Right.
But like in that spree, I think the closest we've seen is the Twins out of Oshi when they were playing more placement based and less aggro. I think they had one of the weeks up there where they were nearing 4, but sub 3 that's really, really, really good.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty incredible, like you said. And we see Hype just get the elimination on Pendragon, LOL there, just utilizing his edits there to quickly peek out, make sure that he's not leaving himself too exposed. Take a look at his partner, Serpent, who has got his own agenda of what he's doing over here. Looks like he's doing the same thing, but on the opposite side. So these guys just applying pressure all over the map.
Yeah, and one thing to note, it is a much sparser circle when you're in those very late games in terms of Oceania. Some players opting to play aggro, trying to get their games out there, will just go full send and try and burn through a couple towards the end to get into another one. But if you have good game management or the ability to just play consistently and ride it out, you can play this game all the way to conclusion and maybe snag what might be a slightly easier victory route for you if you're playing passive and defensive, which Serpent and Hype seem to have been doing so here with, I want to say, only 6 elims, but in comparison to the rest of the lobby, it's not a ton. It's good.
No, for sure. And to your point, kind of what you said about knowing, where your opponents are. Keep in mind that there's only 12 players left on this map right now, and only 7 duos remain. Make that 11 and 6. I spoke way too soon. Serpent secures another elimination there on Bray. But in terms of final circles, Sundown, this is not something that we see very often in these late games.
No, and it makes for interesting play because people can be more calculated, but normally you don't get as much room to operate. So now all of a sudden, Zank being in this 1-by-1 by himself, if certain Hype want to go pinch him, they absolutely will. They know this is a 2v1, they know there's no one else here, but Zank is now trying to get whatever opportunity he can to free up shots, knowing that the next elim that goes down is the top 5, and every single point matters, even if not for qualification, then for the prize money, with the prize pool being doubled in weeks 9 and 10.
Yeah, and Zank making that quick decision to just use the launch pad, kind of get out of there. He saw that there were players rushing at him, decided to go up, get the high ground, which does end up working out for him because he lays down a 35 and a 71 shot on opponents down below. Breaks a baller, which is going to be bad news for that player. He isn't going to have that additional protection anymore. But he is just trying to fire shots, methodically go through and see if he can actually get any kind of knocks or eliminations here to get that siphon, because he doesn't actually have any kind of healing, and he does take out Jimmy, so that is certainly going to help him for any kind of future eliminations or any kind of engagements here.
Yeah, and it got him into the top 5, and Goobaz actually ended up going down as well. So just getting the tags on the end of the storm as rotation does go up the mountain. The verticality being the difference there. Elimination does go over. That was the knock we had just talked about. While Replace goes through, he edits down, has nothing to catch himself, but luckily was on the edge of it. But Hype is relentless on the high ground, and now they're going to start working the top down. When we started on board with them, they had 4 elims, now worked it all the way up to 8. There is 9 and 10, and they're looking to close this match out, and this is where every point matters. Getting the wall replaced, and Slaya goes down. Well done from Hype and Serpent. 11 elims in the victory royale.
Well done from them indeed. Now, unfortunate to see Slayo go down. I know that he is a favorite from a lot of people, but you know what? Second place, not too bad, Sundown.
No, it was a good effort, but like you said, once kind of those two get rolling, when they have the momentum, they are able to just run with it. We've seen it before in the semifinals, and when they finally converted it over, sometimes that's all it takes. If you're able to put the pieces together on the right day in the finals, that's what ends up mattering. Now we're on board here with Surf Junkie and Evanix.
And take a look at their loadout. They have right now 2 Rift to Goes, 2 Shadow Bombs. I'd be interested to see if they've split the Shadow Bombs. Duos will typically do that. You know, give 2 and 2 so each partner has some kind of mobility in their inventory. They do only take up 1 slot, and you can carry a whole bunch of them. So we've seen time and time again players utilizing those to make rotations, make sure they're safe heading into the next zone, and they are going to actually opt to rift out there so that they can make that early rotation. They did have quite a long way to go, but they are going to look to see if they can possibly sneak on some high ground here.
Yeah, the thing is there, well, it seems like it is a little bit of an early rift. If you look at the bottom right-hand corner, majority of the players were in their path in order to get to the rotation. So when you have 2 rifts and 2 extra Shadow Bombs as well as a ton of the shields, you can afford to be a little more aggro there, and they're actually able to now get priority on the zone and pick up an elim as well. But can they get the mats and then disengage out with whatever upgrades they so desire?
Again, Surf Junkie taking a lot of damage there, so he is going to have to really focus on getting healed up before they, you know, make the next rotation or before they take another engagement, because you certainly do not want your duo's partner going down or falling to anyone at this stage of the game. That certainly can spell disaster. But we are going to take a look here at Serpent and Hype. We saw a little bit of their gameplay in the last game. They look as though they're playing very, very well together today. And you know, let's just see what they can pull out right now.
Yeah, so these were actually, so the last game we watched was their second to last game, and this was their final game of the evening. So that's kind of why it ended up being such a thinner lobby. It was a lot of the players trying to get through and use the last of the games, but Serpent and Hype saying, that's fine, we'll play it for a victory royale. And right now, inside the first placement threshold, already on 7 elims for this match. So that's 10 points so far coming out from this game. That's what we talk about when we say maximizing efficiency in every single one of your lobbies. If you're making it into the final placement threshold, getting a couple of those victory royales and getting elims as well, no, it makes it very difficult for everyone else in the lobby to even keep pace with you.
Yeah, and you know, that we've seen time and time again has worked out for so many players, you know, really just being very aggressive, just going full send. It doesn't matter what game you're in, that can always bode well. He does get the knockdown on oh my gosh, Surf Junkie and Evnix just fall to him completely, no chance, and we've seen them play very strong in the past, so that is very surprising. But Serpent does pick up the Rift to Go and 2 extra Shadow Bombs, so now the tables have turned, so now he has got all of the mobility he needs.
They just have so much control over this lobby now with the high ground. They can see nobody else is even remotely close to it. There's the far side of the lobby. You will see Lunar and Alpha trying to put some shots on it. Prince Charming comes sailing in, but there was a Shadow Bomb directly in the box behind it. I don't know if Alpha realized that. Gets high ground taken away from him second. Boxed in, no traps coming out. Does finally put one down, and Kaiser can't avoid the damage there. 15 health on it. Needs to throw the Chug Splash at his feet or get the edit out. One of the two has to happen very shortly. 15 HP, was able to get back up to the high ground. Is going to opt to just pop the minis and then go for the Chug Splashes.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it wouldn't have really mattered too much what he chose to do, because you are only getting 20 HP effectively from those Chug Splashes for each one that you throw down. He did wait for his partner to join him, though, because there is that area of effect with the Chug Splashes. You get 20 health, your teammate gets 20 health, so not everybody gets 20 health.
Well, that's tend to be why you see it more run in duos, but also just love having shields all over the place. But now Serpent Hype going aggro, and we've seen it putting the dual combat shotguns to work, focusing on that with the loadout and making sure they're shooting together. But right now, Serpent has been chipped out a little bit. However, they're into the top 10 in terms of the team. So 5 placement points been picked up so far. And look at that. Prince Charming gets taken down. No fairy tale ending for you there. It's just back to the lobby. And considering this is the last match, that's the end of your World Cup run, as Serpent and Hype able to clean that up. There's another one going over, up to 12 in all the resources from it, and they saw that Shadow Form player. Look at him just running.
What is happening? Sundown. He was just, you know what? I think at that point he was just trying to do whatever he could to stay alive. Unfortunately, Hype and Serpent met him there, but Serpent does actually go down, and he is going to fall to the storm. It is going to be completely up to Hype now to carry the rest of this game. Each of them having 7 eliminations, sitting at 125 points. Do you think he's going to be able to pull out the victory royale? We're going to have to find out.
Now, they are on the 14. Elam's has the proximity launcher. That's 70 on both of them right there. Will get the AoE, gets the 70 again, so he knows that player is on 40. Drops down.
What?
Ices catches himself with the waterfall as he drops. Will pick that up. Siphon comes over too. Will he be able to get enough mats? He's sitting on 3-2 now, out of materials. It's a 2v2, v1, v1. Edit comes out. Needs to pick up this Elam. Storm isn't his favorite player. Covers himself with metal. Edit goes forward. Uncle Andy, say goodnight. Nothing left for you there. Hype finds the shot right there. Gets a good 80+ tick. Can he find another one as he's trying to do all of the work by himself right now? Serpent's been taken down. He's sitting on 9. Elam's getting some help from the high ground. 73 with the first shot. Getting walled out. Needs to find a way back in the zone, and he does. Lupius goes down. 1, 2. Can he find the third? Needs to get the conversion over, and he does. Lupius goes down. It's a 2v1. Can he find it?
Oh, no.
Alpha Barbucks cleans it up, but second place and 15+ Elams coming out from there. Good effort from Lunar and Barbucks, but Hype and Serpent showing why they got that top spot. It was really well played.
Unbelievable, the decision making and mechanically how gifted you have to be able to drop down, waterfall down, pull out your shotgun, and catch yourself so quick. Cat-like reflexes. Too bad Kitty Plays isn't here to comment on those.
And making sure that it was the player he had ticked twice with that proximity grenade, while it only being 70 damage, it's basically guaranteed if the player isn't boxed themselves up. But now we're going to hop on over to the Asia region while we see what was up with the Trigger QQ boys of the Vietnamese region, or the Vietnam country, playing on the Asia region. Apologies there, as we're on board here with Ricky and Joysa. Some good shots coming out from that tactical assault rifle so far. 12 duelers remaining, 23 players left as we're in the half in, half out.
Yeah, and we are seeing a little bit of a trend here so far with these games, Sundown. You know, not very many players left alive, but I think it's a great change of pace, and you can really see how the players adapt their play style to kind of, you know, counteract the fact that there aren't going to be very many people in the lobby. Ricky just taking down Seal completely as he was trying to rotate and use the launch pad to get out of there. So good on him with that elimination. That will be his first one of the game. His partner, Jazia, is sitting on 2. They are going to use the Stinks to actually try to pressure this player above them, see if they can get him to come down, but he just gets out of there and says, you know what? That one stunk. I'm not interested.
Yeah, Cushy having no reason to do that. And you also noticed that Joysa threw the stink directly on top of Ricky while he was pressuring. No friendly fire going on there. As you can see, Hooten and Peach on the low ground, but there's the qualifiers, Flame and Unique over on the side. And one thing I went through and ended up reviewing a lot of their matches, they had some hairy situations early, but pretty much every single early game, they got completely uncontested Dusty Divot and walked out with just max everything. Like, it was nuts and just getting a ton of rotation, but right here you can see right now sitting on 2 Elams, have a decent amount of loot, good amount of mats, and prime area on the zone. So convert that into one onto Theo, getting a good knock with the help of the Storm, up to 66 points as we're inside that placement threshold number 2, top 10 ticking over.
And I feel like Dusty Divot is actually one of those points of interest where you can drop and get a ton of resources, all the trees being there. You know, some would argue that, you know, you're at a bit of a disadvantage because you are essentially, you know, not to pun, but you are in a divot. But you know what, if you can use those trees for cover, that whole area completely uncontested and for yourselves, you are going to come out of there sitting pretty. So we are taking a look here. They are rotating over. We'll see how he builds up here, if he tries to take high ground, or it looks like he might actually be making a play for that.
Yeah, he was looking to find it over on the side, but instead just opted to box himself up, realizes he has the RPG and wants to start sending everyone cascading down, but opts not to fire it. So interesting decision there. I actually thought he would have sent it down. Instead turns towards the player underneath him, and him and Ricky are going to try and isolate that player in order to convert it into an elim. Now he's going to look skyward. I figure he would want to reset that before they got too established. Nope. Instead, he's going to say, my high ground now. Perfectly timed launch pad to get it right at that maximum deploy height. And now, all of a sudden, Joyza and Ricky on the high ground with a whole bunch of resources.
And 12 rockets in their RPG. We've seen this time and time again. Explosives are extremely strong, but they are even stronger when they are raining down on players from ultimate high ground. These players do not have to worry at all about anything that is happening above or below them. They need to be looking up at Jazia and his teammate because they are actually going to go on a little bit of a tear here. Let's see if they can get any more eliminations. They've already picked up one, but you can see him. Jazia's ready. He's got that RPG out, Sundown.
He has it out. He's trying to make sure it's loaded. Stinks continue going up. That looks like it's his teammates since he's just walking through that. Does hit top 5 now. Ricky has taken a solid amount of damage, but continues tossing down Stinks towards the low ground, but he hasn't found anything with it. So far, they've only converted this into one, and Ricky actually got knocked flame all of a sudden. Flame and Unique picked up 2 there, and they're into the top 3 with a 2v1v1. Joyza on the high ground. Dorothy isolated in front of him. They're going to try and pinch. RPG comes down, but Joyza commits himself, falling down after the RPG, taking 80+ damage. So now rifts himself up to the sky, but this is going to give Flame and Unique all of the pace, all of the pressure. Dorothy gets pushed down. Unique does get chipped out, so he needs to be careful. Joyce, recognizing this, knows he needs to go now before it's isolated, but there's the maximum deploy height. Might as well just be hanging out, clips his head, finally touches his feet, and gets blasted for it. Flame and Unique, we hopped on board with them. They had 2 elims. They converted into a 7 elim victory royale for 17 points, Spooky.
Very well done coming out of those 2. And Jazia made a little bit of a mistake there. He did miss that floor that was built out, but unfortunately for him, he didn't have much of a choice. He didn't have any mats left, so he had to rip. That was literally his only play. Fortunately, it didn't work out, but let's hop right into another game from the Asian servers. We are looking at the Trigger Boys again. They're sitting at 9 eliminations already this game. So, you know, let's kind of see if they were able to pull something off here.
And again, one thing I highly recommend if you have the ability to go back and watch these guys' VODs, because I know a lot of people, they like to talk about the zero pain wall takers and going somewhere else to play on. These are players playing from Southeast Asia, playing from Vietnam, being able to execute together, finding a strategy that works for them, team firing and coordinating. It was very impressive to watch. And there's honestly a couple of situations in the early and mid game where it felt like they really shouldn't have got out of, and they had really cool disengages. So highly recommend checking out these 2 players in particular if you want someone who might feel a little more accessible in terms of going over, and it's something that like, hey, I can do this, because I know there's sometimes when I watch VODs of like Benji Fishy or Clicks or Dubs, and it's like, well, I'm never going to try that ever, so.
Never say never. Believe in yourself.
Some of these kids, some of the guys going to the Fortnite World Cup final are infinitely better than I could ever hope to be mechanically, and honestly have shown why they are that good. Like, these guys are the best of the best and just do some mechanical stuff that hasn't been seen before. But that is not the only way to be successful in this game. There's plenty of paths in Fortnite Battle Royale to get there and to get to the top.
Yeah, I mean, you can be mechanically amazing. You know, you can have smart rotations. That's what I love about the Battle Royale genre as a whole. There's just so many different working parts. And I feel as though, you know, there are some duos that do some things really great and others that do other things even better. So that's why it's always so exciting to me to be spectating duos and being able to be here and casting these games, just so that you can see how these duos work together, how they play to their strengths. They are going to be taking, that one gets me every time. I had to quickly look down into the inventory there to make sure he had the redeploy. I was like, what are you doing, Unique, please?
I still get a little bit of vertigo anytime. Even if I know they have it, it's just like, I'm desperately afraid of heights. But we're into the top 10 now as Unique and Flame. Now you can see high utility. Again, 2-gun loadout, but using as much of the utility. And RRQ hero Kappa just gets ripped. 4-shot out from under him, and they catch him before he even hits the ground. Up to 91 points so far from Unique and Flame, and just so well done.
Yeah, and you can see there, just, you know, they started shooting at the wall and then both immediately switched down to the floor. Smart plays coming out of them as always. Here we have Net gonna take a stab at that name. I know that, thank goodness it's me casting here and not Zeke, because
he would have panicked and
Yeah.
probably fell out of his chair. But
Yeah,
now,
that-
Matt taking shots from the high ground, looking down here, trying to find what he can. Gets GCBM, GGK with a perfectly placed rocket, and now he's going to look to punish that backside of the storm. That was the conversion over to the knock he'd already gotten, so nothing else to do in there. As for here, trying to put shots out towards the rest of the lobby, they find Buddha Fishy. So, Benji Fishy transcending regions now, all the way over in Asia, people trying to get that luck, but not going to be enough, as the SP duo currently running up on the high ground onto 7 elims, looking for number 8 with that rocket. Got to be careful when you edit. However, Harakiro goes down.
Yeah, he just completely dropped down there, possibly to make it easier for his partner to possibly get him. But you know what? It isn't going to matter because the zone is moving, so he is going to completely fall. Here we have the Trigger Boys. Actually, my apologies. It's only Unique still alive in this match. He has used a Shadow Bomb to position himself perfectly for the next rotation. Is building up, kind of taking mid-ground at this point. There are only 7 players. Make that 6 left in this lobby, 5 duos. So this is almost a solo game at this point.
Yeah, and now he got the other duo knocked, so it is a straight-up solo game. If he can convert on that, it will go through, and he's into the top 5. So a huge play, despite Flame going down. Conversion does go through, and he finds Kosa as well. So now, straight-up solos. 9 elims on Unique. It's a 1v1, and this was for all the money. Unique wanted to be enough. He was sitting there. This was their second to last game. They needed to clutch out. They needed every single point possible, and will he be able to find it? We're watching the left side of the screen right now as Unique disengages down towards the bottom. Matt up on the high ground again as he's trying to run him around and find an angle. One thing to note, only has 6 mats and only has the redeploy, which is a top-down mechanic, so he wants to sneak a shot on him. He knows he has to save mats. Hello!
He jumped the rocket!
What? What?
Somehow!
Ridiculous!
He jumped the rocket!
It went up onto the low ground, just being a tile of the square away. Gets the first shot with the combat. Now he has the pressure. He finds the zone. He has to go forward, though, because here's the change in elevation. He finds the first shot. Can't find the second. And he does! He finds it! 7 XP left. Gets the siphon to tick over. Unique puts it on his back. 24 points. 14 eliminations and the victory royale. Look at the fossil. Look at the plays. The Vietnamese duo doing it. They said, we don't need 0 ping. We don't need to take your walls. We'll do it with style. We'll do it with execution. And we'll do it with coordination. But now we're hopping over back into live games. This isn't stuff from last night or early this morning, depending on where you live. This is from Brazil. We're going all the way down to South America, and now on board with Nothing, No Name, and Clipnode. Clipnode, who actually grabbed the final solo qualification spot last week.
Yeah, congratulations to him. We saw him absolutely playing out of his mind. He 100% deserves that, because Clipnode is somebody who, when we first started this whole journey with World Cup, I really wasn't sure who he was, but we've seen him time and time again be extremely consistent, just with utilizing, all of the things that he's learned so far. To see him qualify last week, sneak that in. But now he's here with Nothing, No Name, and they are certainly trying to make names for themselves today. Clipnode using that launch pad to rotate over. Tons of players left in this lobby, so things might get a little bit dicey for him. This terrain is going to be extremely difficult for these players to navigate. We see these 2 massive mountains in the middle here. The amount of high ground and materials they're going to need to come into play to make these rotations easy for everyone is going to be something to witness for sure.
I hate end games over here.
I love them.
I don't do particularly well in those circumstances. Oh, hello! Great edits coming out from Clipnode. Gets the heavy snipe on the box across. Catches the hot potato grenade midway through. Hello, there's another one. Can he get over in the box? Great re-edit as well. If he didn't close it, would have taken damage there. But this is what a World Cup qualifier looks like. The individual plays to get away from that. And man, the guy with the grenade launcher on the low ground is just pinging them into those windows.
He's not missing a shot at all. I don't know if I would ever say that term with a grenade launcher. You're not missing shots, but you know, he was absolutely nailing those. Now, like you said, you don't like being over here, but this is what it's all about to me. Anybody can, not anybody, but it's much easier to be on very flat terrain, tunnel through. This is what I love to see. This brings out the actual skill sets of these players. It shows us, you know, how mechanically gifted they are, how much they've practiced, how much time they've put into doing scrims and doing arenas, and just showing us why they're here, why they're trying to qualify, and hopefully get those spots to New York.
Yeah, and you do see that Storm Surge is on the right-hand side. What Storm Surge is if a certain number of players are alive and the lobby gets a little too active, the people who have been the most passive will be punished. But because we're down below 30 players, it's turned off and will no longer be active. We've now hit top 15 and we're into those first round of placement points. Now remember, top 15 is 3 points. If you're able to get in the top 10, it nets you an additional 2 for 5. Top 5 gets you 2 more, and then the victory royale is 3 for a total of 10. And generally, if you're qualifying for the World Cup, you're looking for a 50-50 split. You need high placements and you need high eliminations. The balanced approach is what gets you there. As you can see right now, Clip Noted, Nothing No Name, 11 eliminations so far and closing in on top 10.
And they get rifted up into the sky there. That definitely was not Clip Notes. I don't believe it was Nothing No Means either. That would have been a completely other player trying to get out of a little bit of a sticky situation there by using the rift. You can see No Name landing on the high ground, utilizing that community launch pad to pull himself back over to his teammate, because they did get separated for a short moment there. Clip Note has actually used the launch pad as well, or was still up in the air, but it isn't going to matter. He goes down. Unfortunately, lands in the box of another player. Missed is missed, takes him out.
Right, but Nothing No Name was directly underneath him and edited him down in between. He's gonna try and stick this revive, and he does. He got it. Can they edit back over? They got the next box. He's on sub 30 HP, and he gets back in. He has 10 HP. Will they be able to find anything? Player behind. Clipnote goes back down. Can he find it? No. Gets picked up, but they got the top 10. So 12 elim points plus the 5 going through. 17-point performance from Clipnote and Nothing No Name, but they're not going to be a factor in the rest of the lobby. You have Solinho and Seko on the low ground. Matakuski and Ernie just above them with Falls and Ducky 1 tarp above. Solinho does have 1 more chug splash and could use it potentially, but wants to hold off. Waiting for top 5 for the next threshold as W Key Edit picks up Obi, and we get closer and closer. Lua gets ticked over, and now we have 7 duos remaining. Solinho just taking a little bit of a breather, swapping up on their mats while all the action happens above him. Esteban picks up Ducky, and we close in on the top 5. Trap arms and goes off above, but no elimination. Ticks over as the Soccer Skins continue to look. Poised Playmaker wants to make a play, but they also want top 5. Constantly checking their sides, realizing they're okay right now. And I mean, man, they're running low on mats.
They are running low on mats, but they do own all of this. So hopefully, you know, they're going to be able to utilize that to their advantage. Edit down just like that. He takes out Expert. You know, that is the advantage of having all of those builds to yourself. You completely dominate the mid and low ground with edits when you have that. Ernie going down, falling to Soul. Soul gets another shot, 98 with a combat shotgun. It isn't going to be enough. Can his teammate follow up? Seago's out in the storm, but does come back in. Seago's sitting on very little HP, about 50 effective HP to his name right now, and they have to play low ground right now because they don't have a choice.
It's a 2v2. You have MSP and his partner Esteban in the top right, Seko in the bottom right with Solinho. Everything else on the Y from you. Looking for the angle. Player drops out into the side. That's MAFT going for it, but Seiko gets the first knock. The foot knock is off into the sky. The fall damage. Hello. Can he catch himself and get back into the zone? Will it be enough? Solinho's tracking him in. No, it's not enough. Solinho picks up the double, throws a nice little pumpernickel, then into the iconic break it down. Let him know. Throw a hootenanny in there as well, and a great finish. And also, Pookie, I gotta give you a shout out right there. The way you called just the edit down and the fact how he was looking for it and then it happened immediately after. I just, in my head, I'm like, man, they're burning so many of their builds. Like, this seems like a waste, but just spot on with that right there. So hats off to you. Nice little clap. Well done.
Thank you. Don't let my ego get too big sundown, you know, or
Oh,
else
no,
I'm not
it's
going to be
okay.
able
I'll
to fit
knock
through
you.
the door later.
I live with Zeke. I'm an expert at knocking people down a peg.
Perfect. Can't wait for this game for you to say something to just completely catch me off guard. But here we are in another match. We're looking at King and Zone. They hit that snipe. You guys know how much I love seeing those heavy snipe shots. They're my absolute favorite. This is what I have come here to see today. Give me the snipe shots all day, Cam.
Oh, it's both the best and the worst feeling. Like, yes, it feels great when you get it, but at the same time, when you're just rotating around, you're hanging out in your box, and you feel like, hey, maybe I got my one layer, I can peek on a side, then all of a sudden, boom, boom. Or like you're jumping all the way around your 360, you're checking your side, and you just get your face ripped off, and you know, it feels awful. And even sometimes you're launch padding going through and somebody hits that shot. That feels great for them. The player who jump padded over, not so much. But King and X-Zone trying to make the plays. King actually recently getting signed to that 9Z team going over. Originally was King, I will not lose, has qualified for the solos portion. The young Argentinian doing everything he can to reach it in the duo side. Him and X-Zone have been so close.
Taking a few shots there, having them pay off. Still sitting on high ground though with the heavy sniper. Come on, King, give us another snipe shot, dude. But you see him here just looking for any kind of players that were trying to come out of the zone there and get to safety. He's not going to let it happen. He's saying, you know what? I'm king of the high ground here. I'm going to gatekeep you all day.
Yes, he's going to look towards the outside there, not going to acknowledge the pun. It was a pretty good one, I'll give you that. As Latif Boy and Luco Boy over on the side here, 7 elims as we're closing in on the first placement threshold. And honestly, shout outs to Brazil. They've stepped their level up every single week. Some of their qualification barriers actually ending up being higher than NA West in some of those circumstances in the duo week. So just a really high level of competition, and just the fact that it's pushed up every single week. You can see Storm Surge coming through there, and Lottie getting a great shot with the combat there. And that's what we talked about, kind of the difference of the timer, being able to just throw the combat out there, get the wall shot in, and then immediately swap back over it. So now he's going to try to go aggressive because he wants to convert on that.
And you can hear all of the shadow bombs going off behind. He's going to have to be very careful. He isn't built behind him, so there could possibly be players sneaking in behind. But he is going to continue to try to edit forward. Picks up another elimination on Nis and Greg. They both fall to him there.
Yeah, and that was the double, is them trying to stick the revive. And at that point, man, you just got to let your teammate go. Yeah. Let him, you hang him out, you let your buddy and be like, hey, you know what, it's been a good run, but I'm going to go try and get those placement points. They fell outside of the top 15, so it's huge because you waste, I don't want to say waste all the time because you get whatever elim points, but not getting at least the 3 placement points from top 15, it hurts. It hurts the mental game, it hurts your score, it hurts your efficiency in terms of getting the points, as now we're on board with Barboisa. Lee, Golden Boy's favorite, as him and Zodi Boy are trying to make a run at it, currently sitting on 5, make it 6 elims and 33 points, and a great loadout.
Yeah, and he just completely obliterated Les there. So Lee takes out Les. That's a good one. That's an interesting one for later. But he does throw the stink bomb down. Now, we've seen time and time again those being extremely strong. And Zate just gets completely annihilated. Lee now opting to utilize the shadow bomb. Says hello to the baller to his right-hand side, ladies and gentlemen. But then uses the small amount of high ground down there to maybe get any kind of eliminations on people coming into the zone.
Yeah, so if you sneak up on a baller near the outside of the zone and you're in like a late game storm, pickaxe it once and then immediately shoot it out. It'll send them flying out into the zone and you'll get elim credit. Boom, there you go, there's the strat.
Wow, look at these mad strats coming out of Sundown today.
Check Creo's VODs, he does it all the time, and it's hysterical because it's one of the consistently easy ways to get elims on players who don't react. Because if they don't instantly throw down the grapple and boost forward, they're gone. Because the momentum persists as soon as the ball breaks, so it'll send them flying out into the zone. It's great.
You know, where have you been for the last 2 years when I've been trying to improve my Fortnite game? I need you to coach me here.
I mean, you can watch the broadcast and stuff. I drop hints and knowledge like this. It's called the Sundown Rundown or Sit Down with Sundown, whichever one you want. Maybe someday I'll get the leeway to do my super serious serial Sunday with Sundown, but
that is a lot of alliteration there.
Oh, trust me, it's Fortnite. It's all alliterative. But we're getting closer now to that top 5. 11 elims so far from King and X-Zone. X-Zone saying, I will not lose. I want to be on that stage with my buddy King, and King being one of those young prodigies out of the SA region, along with Nyx, doing everything they can from this low ground. How well can they execute and get around the side? Body Boy picks up Gozer there and continues his run forward, knowing it'll be ticked over, but King trades him right back, just inside, or just outside the top 5. You can see him wall off the player and want to stick with the zone as it's running out. 10 players remaining, 6 duos left right now as they look for the space. Gozer does finally tick over, but Lottie had been eliminated, and Clement didn't 90 fast enough there. couldn't cover himself. 13th elim. King has 11 of them as him and X-Zone are working down in the tarp. But Barboisa is trying to do everything he can as he frags himself into the top 5, picking up the double. You have Bravo in your top right and King in the bottom right as he gets another one onto Tade. They're the only duo left in the bottom right. Barboisa gets Fran. Will he take over? No, Bravo takes it up, and we have a 2v1 with double campfires on the low ground. Heavy snipers as well. Knock Bravo down. This is one of the top duos. This is a team to keep an eye on. King and X-Zone, 43 points with the victory royale. 25 from that match, Pookie.
Yeah, coming out with 15 eliminations between the two of them. Now, you've said it so many times, you know, getting the placement and getting the eliminations are so important in these games to make sure that you are hitting top of the leaderboard every single week, and we just saw a perfect example of it coming out from those guys right there. Congratulations to them. We can see here for the Brazil games, we only have about 40 minutes remaining, so these games are going to be some of the last ones for these guys, depending on how long they are able to survive. Each match going approximately 20 minutes, so you need to plan your time accordingly and make sure that you are getting the most out of these games, because time and time again, we've seen it come down to just a few points, so every point matters.
I mean, we've seen it very frequently coming down to less than a few points. Like, we've gone, I think we've gone 2 tiebreakers deep at some point. I think the most we've had to gone is 3 once. I might have to double check that. I know Creo went 2 deep on his when he ended up advancing. But one thing I do want to talk about is kind of the mentality about playing for late. It's something that you've heard all the time in the Fortnite community, but a lot of people don't really understand. Like, there's a big proponent around the idea of W keying or playing aggressive, and taking early aggressive fights when you can gun race and you know you have an advantage. For instance, if you pick up a combat early, or if you pick up a legendary AR at range, or even a green AR before somebody is able to get set and really get a ton of mats, you can pressure somebody and you can go full send and you can go aggro and you can create an advantage for yourself. But in the general run of the game, taking an even fight against players who are roughly as skilled as you or even slightly less, they're going to be able to chip you out. And most players are going to be able to at least delay you or make it worth the time unless you're significantly better than it. Right? So then if you end up being able to be a little more passive, playing a little safer, working around the outside, being more deliberate in how you rotate and get to places, this is called playing for late. Because then you get in these circumstances where you have all the mats, you have the resources, and you're in a more chaotic environment, but you're not knocked out way before taking a 50-50 fight, and all of a sudden, we've seen the number of times you win 1 key engagement on the low ground or 1 key engagement on the mid ground, and all of a sudden you take high ground away, or 1 turns into 3 or 4. But you don't get those opportunities if you don't make it to late game.
Exactly. I could not have said that better myself, you know. The thing is, too, is early game, you never know what the other player is going to have that you're going up against. You know, you might feel that you're...
local. Probably.
What's up, Fortnite fam? Sundown here, and today we're going to talk about the Tactical Assault Rifle and its addition to competitive play.
The Tactical Assault Rifle is probably one of the best additions to the game. It's a long-range weapon where you could save AR ammo if you have a drum gun.
Small bullet, you can find everywhere, so it's a good weapon.
The Tactical AR is an uncommon, epic, and legendary weapon that utilizes light ammunition and has a high rate of fire. It does 22, 23, or 24 damage depending on rarity, has a pretty fast first shot accuracy timer, and a dope reloading animation. I mean, come on, just look at it. We've seen a lot of competitive players opt into using the Tactical Assault Rifle over the course of the Fortnite World Cup Online Open qualifiers. So let's hear from some of the players who qualified for the finals and get their thoughts on the TAC AR's addition to the game.
It's really good, like really, really good. Once you get to endgame scenarios like 5th zone and beyond, it absolutely beams. It's very, very viable in meta right now. Everybody's been using it.
I like it because you could actually sneak up on someone. It has this low sound, so it's hard to hear.
It has its viability due to its first shot accuracy that can make it really strong, and the fall off damage isn't as strong as it was for the silent SMG, which got vaulted.
I reckon the gun's awesome for endgame because if you've got height, that gun can really get a lot of eliminations because it's like a laser, and people endgame tend to have less HP than they would towards the early and mid game. So I think it's really strong in situations.
Thanks for watching. What are your thoughts on the Tactical Assault Rifle, and when do you like to use it? Send us your opinions using the hashtag Fortnite World Cup, and I'll see you on the battle bus, or maybe on the high ground with a TAC AR.
What's up, Fortnite fam?
Today, we're going to be playing for $3 million for charity, folks, and it is going to be an incredible time.
50 of your favorite Fortnite personalities will be paired up with 50 celebrities put on this fantastic stage.
It's going to be awesome. It's duos, so we've seen it before at the Pro-Am last year, and it's always a blast. I can't wait to see what's going to happen.
The first match of the Summer Block Party Pro-Am is beginning right now. They're putting down pressure. No one's safe now. That's one Elam right there. Can he get a second? That is going to get followed up because he desperately needs materials. A player behind, 102 to the face. Look at this, he's just waiting for a full send. It's Symphony. He shuts him down. It's a 1v1. Who is the other player that's left? Oh! Here it is. He's going to go with the X. Oh! Airwalks.
Wow. Dude, that was aggressive. Look at him go here. Just beating down players. No weapons. Doesn't even need them.
Wants this. Look at this. Aiden's just supplying pressure. Oh, tries to go high ground. This might have been a mistake. This is Aiden. We're talking about more damage. Bucky's down to nothing. And Aiden, victory royale.
Well, it doesn't connect with the shot. Marshall Lynch hits 75 blue.
One great shot connects up, comes up over top. It's a second right there, and the rift goes out.
Oh, she's on the run. She's chasing it down.
You're not gonna let this one go away. Oh, no, no. You know, you're a solo. No turning back now.
35 wide on that damage there, and Ewok got the target. One build remaining, and that's it. He's gonna land in front of him, and typical gamer. Final game. Typical gamer pops up behind Janina. Oh, the rage. At this point in time, not looking the best when it comes to that. Oh, no!
Final moments, Golden Boy.
This is it right here, the 1v1. It's going to be Aiden going up against Symphony, pushing forward, forcing the activity. Oh! Symphony with the victory royale! Your winner of the second Fortnite Pro-Am is RL Grime and wow!
I'm a big fan of competitive Fortnite and watching it, so this has been really cool to be involved with.
Ça passe easy, actually.
Easy peasy.
final beasts out of the East, who will join Dubs and Mega, Cease and Elevate, and Zayt and Saf out of this packed region. Ghost Demo and Bizzle have come so close, with just a single Shadow Bomb rotation being the difference between their trip to the final as a duo or not so far. Can they clutch up in the final week and put their high execution style strategy to work? And the question everyone wants answered: can Tfue and Cloaksy or Ninja in Reverse make it to the Fortnite World Cup final? Both have come so incredibly close in different duo weeks, and both have the eyes of everyone in the Fortnite and gaming world on them. Will these Titans move on, or will someone else rise above them in the final moments?
What's going on, Fortnite fam? We are back, and welcome to continued coverage of Fortnite World Cup Online Open Qualifiers. We're hanging out with our best friend Sundown, who's getting that real deep. Very proud of you there. Anyway, Fortnite fam, welcome. Let's go ahead and refresh your memory. All right, and we know we've been gone for a little while. All right, so let's get the memory going. All right, we'll start with the schedule. Don't forget, Oceania and Asia have already concluded. Europe as well as done. We're hopping into NA East games in here in just a moment, and we'll wrap the day later on with NA West. Don't forget, we also pushed everything back 1 hour, so that's why those times might look a little new. Now, of course, we are back to duo competition, which means top 15, top 10, and of course, 5 in the victory hour, all those placement thresholds. Every elimination is, of course, a point. Don't forget about that crazy prize pool, $2 million. Every single placement spot on the board will be doubled. Do not forget about that. That is huge. Now, of course, guys, $2 million prize pool is pretty cool. You know, it's pretty cool, but what's more important are those qualifying spots. 4 up for grabs, 4 were up for grabs in Europe, excuse me, 3 in NA East, 1 in West, 1 in Asia, Brazil, Oceania, of course. I mean, we've seen quite a bit of Fortnite action today. And I mean, it's just going to continue getting better. Don't forget, we're hopping into NA East here in just a moment. But first, we kind of touched on it before this last little break. We got a new competitive Twitter, FN Fortnite. Is that what it is? FN Competitive.
Fortnite is a good one. FN Competitive, as Monster would say.
FN Fortnite.
Check out the medias. It's where we're going to be posting a ton of stuff in terms of competitive, whether it's highlights, polls, tips and tricks, VOD reviews, creator content, whatever you are looking for in terms of the creative side, competitive side.
I got you.
Will be on there. FN Competitive, you can check it out right there. But as Zeke said, 5 more spots are up for grabs. We hopped into Brazil a little bit before the break. They'll be wrapping it up. We'll have those final standings in a bit, but now we're going to jump into NA East, where 3 of the last 5 spots are up for grabs. And let's take a look at where the standings have shaken out so far. So first, only 2 or max 3 games have been played so far, but Slacks and Keys up top, 38 in the spread. We always talk about it, 9 points so far separating. So that's a decent buffer after your first 2 games.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially with already a victory out under the belt, it's got to feel really, really good. But don't forget, we're still just kind of beginning games out. We're still feeling these games out. It is finals day, the final chance to punch your ticket to the finals in New York City. So I would expect to see the standings shift, especially if a group or 2 has like a really standout game. You know, we're talking a 20-point game. We could see this shift dramatically.
Yeah, I mean, a 20-point game would definitely shake it up. But to be said, like, that was a lot of players in NA East who we've seen a lot of 72 hours in Vivid. You had Naga Ops and Kenneth up there, Z-Laner and his partner. So it's no strangers to the top 10, and they're going to look to keep that pace up there. Aircool, also shout out to him. So a lot of those previous Summer Skirmish veterans showing up in Week 10.
That's right. Everyone is putting everything on the line to try and punch their ticket to the finals. But now, Fortnite fam, we're not going to keep you up too much longer. Let's get ready to hop into some games. Remember, we have a new person joining us. That is Shia Wager, and we have Bala TW to get us through all these games. Gentlemen, please, after you.
Thank you so much, Zeke and Sundown. I appreciate it, and I just cannot wait to get in these games. Shayo, I'm excited to cast with you for the first time. It's going to be great, the VOD review duo coming in. But you know what else I'm more excited for? We are getting into some NA East games, and there's so many names who have yet to qualify, Shayo.
All the big names, Cloaksy, Tfue, we've got Tom at the top with Vivid right now. It's going to be a dope time. Experience you don't want to miss. I want to get right to it, Bala.
Yeah, let's get into it. The games are ready. Let's go right now into the first couple of NA East games. I mean, Shayo, these Vivid, Tom, I mean, Tfue, Cloak, Bizzle, Demo. There's way too many names to list that could still qualify. There's only 3 spots to grab them.
A lot of people, and the hole's really small to fit in through, so we'll see getting right into it with Ghost Assault going to be going up towards a mid-ground layer, about the 5th zone, just locking in a very prime position as well on the zone wall. He's going to be trying to get up in height just to see if he can have a better vantage point on everyone around him. We are in the snow biome, a lot of hills available, also a lot of different types of sight lines available for different duos in different layers of height.
Yeah, and this Assault and Innocent duo from Ghost, I mean, they have been probably actually one of the most consistent duos throughout NA East and throughout the World Cup overall. Both controller players, both, you know, part of that controller gang and crowd that people are looking to have one at least full duo qualify. Still, it hasn't happened yet.
Absolutely. Right now, it just looks like they're going to be playing safe. These guys are up in the top 10 of the leaderboard. They're going to make sure they want to replicate those results they've had in these first 2 games. We talk about the way you play games now. It's been 10 weeks. It is duos as well, so there's more brains at your strategy. A big double heavy snipe coming in. Not sure if, yeah, it was both duos synchronizing that at the same time. Sometimes you can pick up on a heavy snipe that's coming off from across the server as well. A lot of action going on now. Vertical sightlines coming through. Some desynchronization on that floor placement there. We're going to see what they can do as we go to a big aerial shot of the entire snow biome at the moment.
And yeah, talk to me, Shayo, about the mobility that these players are all starting to use. We're about to come up onto that, you know, that 6th zone waiting period before it starts moving. But everybody's trying to make their plans and even getting some double heavy snipers in. We already saw one tick through, and now Painful goes down. His teammate Tyler's trying to get away, and I think he is going to manage to do that, but not before Assault and Innocence grab from those spoils.
You talk about the mobility, that was the priority there from Assault getting in, just picking up that jump pad as well as topping off his smokes all the way up to 6. Very smart stuff in and out, making sure he doesn't get too much pressure from other duos as everyone looks for those free loot piles near the end of the game. Now we have Fernando on a mid-ground layer as well. Erupt Slades is here as well. We'll see what he can do. Volds and Slades might be using 2 different names amongst each other. All these players switching up their names. 2 Chens going down as they hold up the Stormline pressure from their mid-ground tarp layer. A lot of chug splashes available from this duo as well. Now using Stinks. We'll see if they can play off of them or look for another angle. They're going to be pushing towards Germ goes down from that Stink. Unfortunate there. They're going to be on a low ground layer, though they're going to have to move up at any moment here before the action starts seeping in from zone 6.
Oh, and unfortunately they're split heavily as we go up over Polar Peak. That launch pad's not going to get him all the way up, but you can see Keo and Imshoots right now using those shadow bombs to full effect to get up the mountain. Keo unfortunately falling down and taking a little bit of storm damage, and I think that's going to be the end of him. Yes, he does fall down, and the rest of these players also trying to do it. I mean, I just saw probably 3 duos total go down right now. Devious and Frosty, Wildo and his duo as well. That's crazy.
They call Polar Peak the great filter of the Fortnite competitive scene, as it's always about, do you have that rotation, do you have the mobility, or do you have the smarts to get up with your mats? Not only that, where do you base up after that on shambles or not? We see Niddle also on the top 5 at the moment with his duo Casker, sitting not at that much white health, but that Siphon can click in, especially off of sitting in that ball, looking for that opportune moment to get the guaranteed damage and elimination to make sure he stays on top for those 8th and 9th zone big pop-off moments.
See, almost taking those opportunities out of the baller right there as a couple players rotated directly in front of him, but for now, just outlasting the rest of the server. And hey, that's a good strategy, especially, you know, with these, look how many ballers there are right now, and they are having a good time on Polar Peak because they can climb and fall as fast as they want, no matter what with those grapplers.
Absolutely. You talk about insurance as well. It's awesome when there's a lot of people moving around and maybe 1 or 2 ballers, but when you have so many ballers together, you talk about the insurance behind that mobility. Niddle, the Rift to go, now going to get out. Big shots coming in. Karos going down, in and out of there. A nice burger combo coming in as Niddle now goes all the way down. The mountain going to go back up if it does bounce back. Yes, it does. Moving back towards this huge high ground tarp layer. A lot of other natural ground to be mimicked and manipulated towards as well as they move up through this entire snow biome at the moment. Caster and Noel surprisingly together as well. Very hard to stay together off of balls too when you are moving in these chaotic environments.
Unfortunately, that zone just went on the edge, so a lot of the players who were going onto low ground ended up being able to just come right back up without having to go down. But then Casker and Niddle with the rift play, trying to take high ground. They do take it from Tuxi, and his teammate Nut is somewhere looking for sure, but they have high ground now, and that is what they need. They have the advantage. They have all the position to win this game.
This is all part of the game plan. This is Niddle's consistent strategy. It's always near zone 7 or 8 where he goes for that last-minute high ground take and then just starts to trickle down. We see that in international regions. Brazil does it really well. DK, as he just goes down tarp by tarp, moving like this. Zextro getting popped. His duo Finny going down as well as these guys are now moving towards it. Niddle bombarding the server with his positional advantage above everyone else. Metal doesn't matter when there's 2 people shooting at you at the same time. White shots coming in, a trap coming down to delay that elimination coming through from Casker as he has vertical pressure. Niddle with that horizontal pressure unfortunately did not work out. He goes down, but Casker with the quick drop down, can he capitalize off of this position that he's in on height at the moment?
That player Puffin got chunked all the way down to what looks like 1 HP there, and then I think they did end up cleaning up, but no, Casker still having height, but Assault way down below. There is so much of a height difference here. Assault could capitalize if he just looks right back in his zone and knocks out either one of these teams. I believe they're going down as Casker takes out Top Gun, and then all the way down, he does have that redeploy, so it's now Assault versus Puffin, and the rift up from the top. Casker's coming straight down. Assault is going to take care of Puffin as he was low HP, and now in the zone. Casker looking to find exactly where he needs to go. He's going to get 1 or 2 layers above Assault. Assault slowing the pace down a little bit. He still has a lot of materials to work with, and we're getting down to those final seconds of this zone. Casker versus Assault. Here comes the ramp out into the zone. He does get a shot. Now it's Assault with the HP advantage, but
Big flicks.
Casker with the flick shot onto Assault. He's going to take that game by himself as Niddle combines with him to 8 elimination and 18 points in that game.
Amazing control of knowing when to drop down, when to stay up. Casker playing that insurance. We talked about it with balls, but even as a duo, being sure you're split up and covering for each other's losses will always net you that win at the end.
And I'm already just giggling to myself right here because Tim the Tatman and Wildcat is the first players we're going to be hopping in with on board. With them 1 point in this game, this could be one of their first couple.
One big topic in the Fortnite community as well is the content creators versus the competitive players and their success in getting games done, getting those qualifying spots secured. Blue damage coming out from Tim. Can he see that the individual that he was shooting at, Remdog, is going to have a weakness on his left side wall? He's going to go for that blue, but it's not enough. Not enough dynamic building. In a bad position, he gets beamed down, but the pressure's still coming in from Tim as he bobs down on Metal Tart with his duo Wildcat. These guys are going to be showing everyone else that, hey, even though I stream Fortnite for fun a lot of the time throughout the day and make dope content, I can hang out with the big dogs as well and pop off when the moment's right.
Hey, they were both at that Pro-Am, and here they're perfectly executing a pinch as they get shot a little bit, but I think they still have it. Yes, Wildcat's going to take down that player, and Tim's going to get the finish.
Doing that classic animal aspect, right wall, left wall, showdown there on that other duo that they just cleaned up in record time. Not sure where the other individual is, but it's just big pop-off moments.
So maybe they learned something at the Pro-Am, right?
Absolutely.
In a high-pressure, high-stakes situation, they played on that stage that a lot of these players are vying and fighting to get on at the end of July.
Absolutely. Talk about high pressure. Now we're on high ground where the pressure is very different, as this is the moment where you have to capitalize, make sure you get as many eliminations and pick up your points where you can. Because it's not only about winning games, you have to be dynamic enough to pick up on advantages, get those elim points, get a nice 50-50 split on what you're doing. You can't just be complacent and play these games bopping and Ghost is lost. Up top shooting at oh never mind. Can they get that beam off the sky? Yes, they do, as he comes rocketing down to the ground, landing below. We'll see who picks up that loot in just a second. 1 smoke grenade left for Ghost, so not that much insurance as we talked about before, but we'll see if he can make his position. It is the best one on the server, right behind where the storm is going to be rotating to, and we'll see if he can pop off from that moment as well.
So here, now, 6 zone starting to move. You said it was the best position possible in the server, and I just have to wonder, why is that Shio? I mean, they have the high ground, and their back is... What's going on here with Ghost and Boppin?
So in this position, as you can see, they get a nice theater widescreen 16:9 native view on the entire rest of the map moving straight towards them. And they don't have to use as many mats at all. People can rotate below them. They can follow tarps. They just are allowed to do anything they want on their own pace when you have height right behind the storm. It makes it so that the storm moves onto you. You control the pace of the game. But if you do tunnel vision like they are now, sometimes you get left behind on the storm. Snaz that Fen. This aim is ridiculous, as 2 people have now been beamed. 6 eliminations across both individuals who are still maintaining height, which is a very difficult feat from the 5th zone all the way to the end. We'll see if it's possible. Now Waterfall's coming down. It's very, very hard to have that mat management and be able to still move forward, moving zone to moving zone, as the distances are so far. At this moment, though, we see them utilizing just 1 tarp layers. Hold Her Hand getting knocked by Ghost. Swervo on the low ground as well, doing a lot of work, seeing if he can survive and get up top. Just look at this big view of the map moving forward, all metal.
And Wildcat's still up in this game, so he's, you know, pushing towards those placement points and earning them as we speak right now. Moving closer to that top 10, Boppin and Ghost up on high ground. We've seen them time and time again find these opportunities, find these picks. Not going to find that one, just barely, as he escapes from below him. Right now, again, tarping, being efficient with their materials. They're still lasting a little bit longer, but each time they get knocked out, they get reset. They have to refresh and figure out what they want to do. Not a single one of their eliminations, they have gotten the spoils from, the materials to refresh up on.
Absolutely. I feel relaxed looking at this right now. It looks like these guys are just low effort aiming. The server is just moving towards them because their position is just so good. A lot of connects coming in as well. There's going to be a mountain that people have to move up on. Boppin instantly seeing that, it moves up. Awesome game sense there. He connects. Now they have an entire choke line on everyone else at the bottom of this side of the server. They can end the game before the 9th zone even shows itself.
And I love what they're doing here. You talked about Boppin getting that mountain, getting the connection here, but Ghost is just staying down below. He knows the conditions of the server. He knows it's running dry on players, so they're making sure that they maximize all of the eliminations they can get, all the potential they can get out of the server. And I think they're going to clean up here, Shio, as they take out one more in Cam, one more player for them to find.
This awesome positioning by both people, spreading apart, then coming together on pinches. Now they're going to fight together. No reason to give the individual Keen 2 1v1s and risk that win. A big tarp coming through all the mats. They finally got some fruition from their eliminations. We'll see if Keen can pull a Savage and Shadow up. He's trying to. Not possible. They're bopping, coming out with a donkey laugh. Easy claps from this duo right now. Keen's still working at it. Ghost has lost. Very awesome and smart play there, going for that last elimination point, making sure these guys have everything from this game possible. Just a perfect 5th to 9th zone height hold and awesome win at the end of the day.
And timing was everything there. They already blocked him out. You saw he tried to shadow out, but he didn't find any opportunities to get out from under that carpet that they made. It was so wide, so strong. And you know, by the time that he ran out of HP, by the time he was about to go to the zone, they made sure they capitalized and got that last elimination.
Absolutely. I'm seeing something a little bit odd here. I see Riversen on
NA East.
The East servers. Hello.
And, you know, not with his normal partner at all. Anthony, this is a new one for week 10.
Absolutely. You talk about week 10 pressure. You know, it makes people make these not maybe drastic, but interesting choices to make sure they are on top of their game and have the most amount of chance to qualify. They're playing at their peak performance. So at the moment, Anthony and Riversen, 2 big powerhouses, solos and duos coming together. We'll see if they can use their position as a pivot point to make sure the entire server answers to them, just like we saw from the last game, Bola.
And Anthony is one of those players that was severely, very, very hyped going into back at TwitchCon all the way back then in last fall. It's almost a year now since then. That's pretty crazy to think about. His partner Joseph splitting up now and, you know, going with Riversen here, and Riversen obviously possibly moving to the East Coast for this. Absolutely. Or playing on that West Ping regardless.
Big beams coming in as we talk about playing offer utility. Bolt Glace going down to this insane Munch Wombo combo. We talk about positioning as well as Anthony stays up top, letting Riversen stay in the fray of the fight, but providing support as well from just one level above. And they have that pyramid and floor edit as well. It's going to be impossible for those individuals who just went down to do anything for defense. But, you know, Riversen looked as the role model of the West community. A lot of people learn a lot from watching his VODs and his streams. We'll see what he can do on East. Right now, it's still perfect stuff. Maybe he switched up for his ping as well. but if he is playing on 60, it looks really good.
Looks good indeed. Now moving on to another duo that definitely looks good. It's Commandment and High Sky. Commandment obviously qualifying in the first week of solos. Not yet qualifying in duos, his partner High Sky right here. I also saw in the background Snood and Thwifo, who had a very, very great performance in week 8. Snood, one of those guys who was just barely making it week after week after week. So last opportunity here, you have that rift to go. That's going to get them very far in this game.
Yeah, they actually choose, I think, to take the jump pad instead. It might have been an enemy rift. High Sky being the one who also had a very, very awesome Blackheart performance. We'll see if he can replicate that in this moment as well.
First place.
Yeah, first place. It was amazing. A lot of you that learned. We'll see if that reload might come in the way of the beam. It does, unfortunately. No damage going down as he's in brick. Has the rift and smokes as well. As Commitment now gets up with his bandages. A big shot coming off on Warrior. That's a lot of good stuff earned by High Sky there.
And you have to actually notice and take note of how he actually pulled out his rift. He was like, let's go, I'm ready for this. But then starting to, realize exactly what needs to go on. Commandment gets beamed down, but he waited that last extra second to get that elimination. But thankfully for Commandment, at 1 HP, Shio, he does have the minis and the bandages to recover.
After week 6, people understood that white health is something you have to prioritize so much, especially with the storm flip coming in throughout this whole week. It was just recently disabled for week 10, so people might still be on that bandwagon of holding that white health as for patterns when you practice and then you play again. He's very thankful for that right now, Commandment, because he has those white HPs somehow finding each other in the same box after smokes. It's so hard to locate a good path to move around in, but now Commandment looking for anything to capitalize on. Big beams coming down, 272. The entire blue shield gets broken from that low ground commando skin. Fami finally going down to the storm actually after that beam. We'll see if these actually smoke again, stick together. Balls everywhere as well. They're going to be dropping down to the low ground. This is the best option for people trying to stick together, but the riskiest after it's done because you have to now make an entire new development of your own lair, your own boxes to get enough pressure to capitalize on through the rest of the game.
Now Commandment going down to low ground here with High Sky. I'm curious of what's in High Sky's inventory because we haven't seen them swap any sort of heals or anything like that yet. But Commandment did get that siphon from the player who went down to zone, but hold on. Explode's coming in from the side. They back up together. Now Shadow's going in again. So Shio, you've VOD reviewed all these situations many, many times. Look what happened here to Commandment. Playing low ground in these situations end up being so risky, but also potentially rewarding as he picks up one more elimination.
The biggest thing about this zone at the moment is that although people hate on them, balls are still available, making it so that there's not too many builds blocking Commandment from coming back up from that low ground. We talk about low, let's switch over to high. Riverson up top with Anthony, once again doing the rain dance, all the bullets falling down below. Frey, Snood, and Thwifo are actually going to be the ones to get the front of that force from up top. Riverson dropping down, taking a little bit of fall damage, needs a siphon elimination here as he does not have any white heals at the moment. A surprise box opening is now going to be realized that where the pressure's coming from Riversand. We'll see if he can dynamically switch between these mat layers to get a nice vantage point or a surprise shot off on anyone, but there are so many hard mats at this point. Everyone's adapted on the rotation meta, the tunneling meta, when to have wood out, when to use brick and metal, and it's going to be so hard, especially with attack AR, to beam through these builds.
You see him trying to open up the sight lines, trying to break through and create any sort of gap where he can find an opportunity. It does get a little bit of a shield tag, but still nothing yet. As you talked about, the hard mats being so useful for these players down on low ground. Now getting up close and personal, that's Thwifo who goes down, so Snood now left on his lonesome.
We talk about using utility. There's not much available left to crack open the server. We did see Riverson use some stinks earlier to capitalize on an elimination. High Sky now down on bottom with Bluff. These guys are going to have to fight for this entire layer. Big shots being traded. Bluff goes and gets that elimination on High Sky. TJ now falling with COD Genesis. One of the other duos left is going to be a 2v2v1. Anthony and Riverson want to crush down this entire high ground layer. Makes it very easy to pressure. No one's on ultimate low at the moment. Can't Bluff call that bluff and go all the way down. COD Gen comes down to Bluff. He might get the siphon for that as well. Give him a nice, easy picking on Anthony and Riverson, as well as they might be able to take height now. A 1v1 coming in, but Riverson representing NA East now, popping off and getting that elimination.
Switching coasts, and I think that was a perfect, opportunity to talk about their chemistry there in the last moments. That timing by Anthony and Riverson to come down right on top of all the duos, right as they all fell within each other, all of them trading shots together and then they just come in and clean up. That's all they needed to do.
Absolutely, just stick on the same page, not one person building and one person shooting, 2 shots coming in, and a nice 1-for-2 trade there, or 2-for-1 trade, netting them the win. We now have Zofer chilling on, once again, a Polar Peak lair. Looks like every region is now having their own respective biome to play in. We saw EU with a lot of guys with Northeast games. We'll see if the filter, the great filter, can be overcome this time as Thick Boy Uravs and 99 Zofer see if they can hold off on this pressure. The wall replaces, you're never sure how much ping your enemy has, how much you have. Ooh. A big trap placement coming in, B-Man going down, no secret there, as the whole server now knows the mistakes they've made on that push.
That was a crazy prediction there by Zofer to realize, hey, he's pressuring my roof. He maybe got a roof or 2 or whatever, but then realizing he's going to drop down on my wall next. I'm going to go ahead and preemptively place this trap. And he fell right into it.
The grind that these players do, Atlantis to Duo Arena to these big pro scrims, you'll be facing so many people and identifying so many patterns that sometimes it's just second nature to predict things that just work out for you all the time as well. Sheep and Family now on the top of Polar Peak.
Speaking of second nature, I mean, we're in the box fight era right now, so that is exactly true. As Sheep and Famhood with the high ground on Polar Peak, they're trying to control this entire thing. They're trying to control that edge, and it could be so valuable for them. No, I'm gonna go ahead and dive down.
At the moment, not Panda, not in his natural climate. Gonna get frosted over by Sheep, who's gonna survive with that big wool fur all over his body. These misfits up top gonna make sure they're gonna do a little bit of mischievous things to the rest of the server as well. 4D, Raz, and Vorpal though, sneaky right below. Not sure if Family and Sheep know where they are. Family making sure he has some insurance just in case the zone does bounce back. It's actually looking like it is gonna go a little bit behind them. They have that prime position once again.
You just mentioned the insurance right there. What Famhood did was actually connect to the side of Polar Peak so that he makes sure, hey, Raz and Vorpal, I know you guys are down there. I know we landed on your base, but this is our real estate now. If you want to go ahead and make edit plays, no, you can't. I bought it.
Yeah, the Fortnite housing market has some beef in it right now. We'll see if these guys can figure it out, up that property value. Gonna look at low ground right now. Once again, these people getting caught on the backside of zone, maybe using that rift a little bit too late, all the way up top. Postic taking an Elam out on Tyler's. Tyler's now getting knocked after that. The sacrifice you make on low ground sometimes can be too much to give you any advantages as well. A stink grenade coming out on the follow-up. Axiom.
Perfect pass. Right? He's doing it in his head right now. He knows exactly what he hit that player for. He saw the white damage come through. He did the math. He did the addition. He knows one stink is going to take you out. Perfect recognition here. They took out Painful's teammate a second ago, but no, I thought he was going to go ahead right through the back of that. It's going off the side of Polar right now, and we know who's up on top. It's still Famhood and Sheep continuing to hold that real estate.
The big thing about this Polar mountain, especially when you're playing on the side of it, is it always gives you natural ground to connect to on the mid-ground tarp layer. So that's going to be very important for all these teams who are going to be looking for shots above and below. Trying to shoot up from mid-ground is always a big risk as you can get knocked down from below you, but now that can be opened up. So Sheep is being very meticulous about where he looks at, focusing a lot of his attention on the low ground layers because he knows that this position might be a little bit more vulnerable than usual. Big shots coming out on him, but he has a lot of shields and a rift as well, just in case things do hit the fan. We'll see if he has to use it at all, dropping in Storm to now waterfall down. Once again, dope mat management. He's going to be using one mat all the time to fall, making sure he falls diagonally to make sure he saves on a mat from a tarp switch as well, which is really nice. One Elam amongst this duo though, so the capitalization on points might not be there yet, but there are 20 individuals left alive, 12 duos. That first placement point comes in, and we'll see if they can get more points all the way up to the Vic Roy.
I really like what they're doing here, moving so slowly forward. Just find Raz, who's below him all that time before, but slowly going in on the edge, really making it so that people don't realize that they're a threat, that they're up there, that they have high ground, and they're owning the game right now. Famhood still looking for those opportunities, just like you said. I think he's going to find one more as these players decide to fight. Couple in the zone. He does find KZ, but falls all the way down, unfortunately. Going all the way down to 21 HP, and I already see a problem here because there's stink grenades in play, really, up on high ground.
Stink grenades in play on height is one of the most dangerous things because sometimes you can't even build higher. It's a lot worse for you at the end of the day. Wall replaces coming in. Dynamic Menace goes down. The 2-tap coming in. Very nice stuff from Sheep here. He's going to start to go down as well, but he's getting pressured from all sides at the moment. Famhood is also alive on a tick of HP right now. They're going to be looking for connects if that's possible. Famhood staying